Number one, the hint hunter technique. Okay, so what is the hint hunter technique and how do you use it to never run out of things to say with women ever again? To answer this, we're going to show you a practical demonstration with my co-host James of exactly what you should do and exactly what you should not do with us girls in just a minute. So stick around. Small talk, which is the skill of not running out of things to say with women, is everything in dating. Harvard University says that 80% of conversations in the workplace involve small talk. And well, us at Social Coach, we've done our own study that says that small talk is 100% of your success in dating. If you can't do small talk and you're scared of running out of things to say, you are completely screwed with women. How do I know this? I'm Tess. I'm not AI. I am a runway model turned men's dating coach and the boss of a bunch of other models who've literally gone on tens of thousands of dates with thousands of our clients and coached them on how to improve with women dramatically over the last 20 years. And 100% of us model dating coaches agree that if you can't do small talk, you're toast with women. So tonight is everything you need, a masterclass on you becoming a master at small talk with women. And in about 20 minutes, I'll show you how you can get to practice your dating and approach skills with me, one-on-one over Zoom, and get expert coaching on exactly what you need to do step by step to improve with women dramatically. Okay, so here's my co-host James, who founded Social Coach back in 2006. Hi, James.
Hey guys. Well, yeah, we're gonna rather than tell you what to do, we're gonna show you what to do. Tess, I meet Tess, let's say after work on a Friday. Hey, what's on for the weekend, Tess?
I'm probably gonna head to the beach for a surf or something. But yeah, I'm meeting up with a girlfriend. We're gonna go to a yoga class and go out for dinner.
That's great. Sounds like you've got a really exciting dinner weekend planned. What else are you looking forward to this weekend? Any attractive girl, you've just completely lost her interest. You've almost slapped her in the face. Tell us, what did I do so wrong there? What do all you guys do when you talk to women, particularly in that instance? We've probably got some students and guys who've worked with Tess on Zoom before. Tell us, what did I do so tragically wrong there? That was like a 1 out of 10 approach. It was terrible. My energy was good. I'm okay dressed. Most things were right, but that was a complete train wreck. What did I do wrong? Okay, what I did wrong was I walk up to the pretty girl, the catwalk model, and she actually likes me. She gives me some stuff to talk about. I should have been listening better, but I think she said, I'm going to go for a surf. I'm going to dinner with a friend, and I was worrying about the tech, not listening to Tess. And I think she might have said, I'm going to catch a yoga class or something. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, man. Anyway, but what I should have done is gone. And then I went and said, oh, so what else are you looking forward to the weekend? My energy was good. My enthusiasm was good. I seemed like a nice guy, but I was a complete and utter tosser, wanker, loser. And that's what most of you guys are doing every opportunity you get. What I should have done is picked up on the hints the pretty girl gave me, which was having dinner with a friend, surfing, or yoga. So for all you engineers and financial analysts and smart guys, this is fine. It's finally working for you. The dating thing. All you got to do is visualize a spreadsheet, and on that spreadsheet you put, oh, okay, having dinner with a friend, yoga, going for a surf, and then you just get the spreadsheet and you rate everything on the spreadsheet. You engineers will be really good at this. You guys who work in an office and push a mouse around, many of our clients. So you go, okay, so she's a surfer, great. I'll give that 8.5 out of 10. She does yoga. Oh, cool, I do yoga. I can talk about that a bit. I'll give it 9 out of 10. Having dinner with a friend, that could work out well, but you don't really have enough context to know that's going to be a definite winner in the first 30 seconds of meeting a hot girl. So what am I going to ask? So what I should have done is, oh, cool. So Tess, tell me what you love most about surfing. Just quickly answer.
It's fun. It's loads of fun, and it's good exercise too. And it's challenging, so it keeps it motivating.
Fantastic. Well, I surfed a bit in my younger days, and I've done a bit of surfing, but not a great deal as an adult. Tell me what's most fun for you about surfing.
Yeah, I mean, I love traveling and surfing, finding new locations in like beautiful, other countries. But yeah, for me, it's just about having fun, like slowly getting better. I mean, it's just about the feeling of riding a wave. It's pretty simple.
That's fantastic. Now you can see the goal when you first go up or if on a date with a really attractive girl is just to get her talking. This is completely different to what everyone else on YouTube tells you. You do demonstrations of higher value and you've got to banter with her. You do some sort of cold read and all this, what Tess and I regard as abject nonsense. The goal is to get her talking about her hobbies and interests. And more so than that, you're trying to get her talking about the hobbies and interests of stuff that actually attracts you to women. Now, I'm not a hardcore surfer for a few different reasons, but yeah, a girl who surfs is dramatically more attractive to me than a girl who doesn't surf, or versus watches makeup tutorials on YouTube a whole weekend. So that gives you an idea. So the mistake is when girls are talking, you've got to have your ears open for what are the hints they're dropping. I'm going surfing, I'm doing yoga. And then you've got to formulate good questions to ask that. That's the whole secret of getting girls to talk to you and not running out of things to say. Tess, in that little example I gave you, which happens to you all the time as a professional dating coach, coaching guys on Zoom and in real life dates and boot camps, it's probably happened to you a truckload, given you whatever 5'10" catwalk model. How does that make you feel as a woman? Some guys come up to you, you said, "Oh, I'll give him a go," or maybe he was cute, and you said, "Oh, I could really give you a go, as long as you're not a complete tosser like the rest of the guys." And then he just completely ignores all the hints you gave him. What does that tell you about the guy? How does that make you feel as a woman?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty abrupt change of topic. Like if you've asked me a good question, I've given you a couple of things to work with, and you just kind of ignore those things, you're kind of sending me the message that you're just not interested in those things whatsoever, or that you just didn't listen at all. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, where do we go from here? I kind of told you what I wanted to talk about, and you haven't picked up on that. So can get a little bit awkward. Or it's like, okay, now I have to start using my imagination to give you something else that you want to talk about. So yeah, it's not great.
How does it make you feel though? Particularly if you might have liked the guy otherwise, or he's been introduced to you by a friend or that sort of thing. Like this guy's got a chance with you, but then you give him three, not one, not two, but three hints in the first few seconds, and the guy just fucking ignores you.
Well, yeah, it makes me feel pretty disheartened. I don't know, if I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be good. Who's this guy? Like, he looks good. And he can't even listen to me in conversation. It's like, okay, where are we going from here? So yeah, it doesn't make me feel very, I don't know, respected or engaged with. I just feel a bit like, I don't know. I don't feel like he's connected at all.
Absolutely. Would you also conclude from that he's probably got a small amount of experience with women, particularly attractive women, potentially he's nervous as well?
Pardon?
And he's not listening. Would you also think he might potentially have a very small amount of experience with women, particularly attractive women? He's probably nervous.
Absolutely.
He's
Yeah.
also demonstrated you're not listening as well.
No, absolutely. If a guy is not picking up on what you're giving him, and you can tell, he's not listening. He's distracted by either, I don't know, your looks or his nerves. He's just in his head, and he can't pick up on what you're giving him. It shows lack of confidence, lack of skill with women, lack of experience. So it's just not great. You know, being really present with a woman and listening and showing that you're listening is like the biggest compliment you can give her. And it shows so much confidence as well for you to actually be able to engage on that level, because so many guys, when they get in front of a beautiful woman or just a woman they've never met before, shit themselves. And yeah, they can't listen, they don't know what to do, and it just it's awkward, it falls flat on its face, it's not sexy.
Fantastic. Just thank you, Martin, Landon, Steve, Vichor, Ralph, bunch of our regulars. There's a whole string more. I'll get to them later. Anthony, great to have you guys. We'll be with you in a second. Next up, this shit is life-changing, guys. Seriously, this is totally life-changing. Ask feelings and emotion questions, not facts and data questions. Ask feeling and emotion questions, not facts and data questions. As men are logical problem solvers, women are. It's just so bad. Like, women are really emotional people. And the silly tosses. 1 second. Yeah, women are really emotional people, and most men are completely crap at talking and engaging with women. I mean, if you're above average intelligence, you're an engineer, it's even worse. And it's basically because we've been trained to think in a way that makes us unsuccessful at talking to women. If you've been to university, particularly if you've studied engineering or computer science or finance or any sciences, any of the STEM subjects, that's why many of you highly educated guys, when you meet a girl, and especially with one you really like, you're soon running into an uncomfortable silence. And the thing of my life is I probably get 1 date a year with a girl I really liked, and I would completely fuck it up. And the most common thing I'd do is just leave this uncomfortable silence. I wouldn't know what to say. It would get weird. And yeah, it's just terrible. And even if you're whatever, 35, 6'4", face like a model, body like an athlete, and you earn 10 million a year, drive a Ferrari, fly in private jets, all the stuff the red pill guys say that, if you got this, women will be easy. Yeah, 10 seconds of uncomfortable silence, and a girl who really likes you might start to go, oh, I don't know about this. I mean, a lot of girls will still follow through if you've got all those things going for you, but the women you really want will be quite pissed off. This is so a good example of that is one of my female coaches, Monique, who's a redhead catwalk model. She did Fashion Week in New York and a few summers in Europe that you can see on the YouTube channel. She was working on the boot camp, and there was quite a handsome engineer talking to her, and she talked about how she's learned to ride a bike as an adult. Guess what this engineer's question was? What's the diameter of your front wheel? I mean, for God's sake, man, she's a woman. She doesn't know. She doesn't care. It's irrelevant. Now, you guys might laugh at this and say, I'd never do something that dumb. I bet most of you would. Another one that Tess has had more than once, I think. Tess is obviously a very keen surfer. How big's your surfboard, Tess? So, yeah, Tess, talk about how it makes you feel when a guy is asking you these absolutely stupid, from a woman's point of view, facts and data questions, and tell him what sort of questions should a guy be asking you if you reveal that you're a surfer.
Yeah, the kinds of questions you should be asking me. I mean, obviously, when you're asking just technical questions about my board size or like wave conditions or something, you're not getting very much information out of me. Like, you get one piece of information, you're not really getting any stories or things that are going to make me really open up to you. So you can easily get to a dead end there. It's like, how big's your board? Cool. Like, what kind of waves do you like to ride? It's like, yeah. You're not getting any bonus information. You're not getting anything extra, right? But the kinds of questions which are feelings and emotions based, like, what do you love about surfing, or what's it like when you catch a really big wave, or what's that feeling like when what was it like the first time you ever stood up on a wave, something like that. I'm probably going to give you this story where I'm going to be using emotive language, giving you bonus bits of information, like, oh yeah, my first wave was when I was at this beach and I was with these people and it was amazing. I'd been trying to learn to surf for this long and blah, blah, blah. So you get all of this extra stuff to work with, right? And not only that, because I'm sort of reminiscing on this moment, I'm really, tapping into those emotions, and it gets me to open up to you more as well. So that is the beauty of feelings and emotions questions, as opposed to those more facts and data style questions, which they're not really the key to a woman's heart, let's say.
Great. Okay, guys. So you talk to a pretty girl and she says she enjoys surfing. Let's give you guys a test. Please follow through on this. Please follow through on this. We're not the most entertaining thing on YouTube, but my personal favorite would be the stand-up comedian Doug Stanhope. We're going to change your life. So yeah, just tell us in the chat what would be some questions you'd ask girls if they said, oh, I'm going surfing on the weekend. What would be your follow-up question? Just ask that in the chat and we'll give you, and the guys watching the replay, you ask yours too. This can really help you. We want to get you guys going from asking feeling and emotions to facts and data questions. So just ask a bunch and we'll rate you on how good they are. So everyone come up with their best questions. And yeah, I'll use my time and I'll go through the replay and I'll give you a rating on your questions, which will really help you. Most of you guys have no clue. Just to give you an idea how powerful these feeling and emotion questions are, I literally for 20 years, I've been doing boot camps, where there's 18 students or 15 students, and there's usually 8 or 9 models running around, and we work with you guys for 45 hours. First, you practice the drills with my trainers, then we take you out for the real world. So on most boot camps, I'll do a demonstration on one of my female coaches. And twice I've been doing demonstrations, one on Aussie swimsuit model Nevena, who's got like 100,000 Instagram subscribers, and the other on a lingerie model, Jackie, another Aussie model. And with Nevena, I made her cry in front of like 25 people, probably 18 students and maybe 7 other female coaches and a helper and that sort of thing. How did I do that? She started talking about how much she misses her hometown, which is a little village in Croatia. So I started asking questions like, so these are writer downers, by the way, you guys watching at home. So Nevena, tell me, how come you miss your hometown, your home village so much? And then she explains that, how everyone's so happy and there's this feeling of community. I go, so cool. So that's really interesting. I've traveled a lot. Tell me why you think the people are so much happier in this, pretty poor sort of not really third world, but second world, just sort of traditional village. Why are the people there so much happier than Sydney, despite what we'd consider to be poverty? And then other questions like, these are some of the questions I was asking Nevena. And then Jackie, again, these are writer downers. Her dad was, a very successful guy who moved to America with his second wife and his second family. And my female coach only got to see him, 6 weeks a year or something. And I'm like, so tell me what it's like to have your sort of alpha male, super achiever, your semi-famous father that you just worship, just abandon you when you're a little girl and go to live in America 10 months of the year. And then another one was, she talked about then, she says, so tell me what it was like as a 9-year-old when you put on a plane with your sister and just shipped back to Sydney and you're not going to see your dad again for 10 months, which is an eternity of time when you're a 9-year-old girl. I've never been a 9-year-old girl. I don't know that. I know I could be a 9-year-old girl in 2026. That's totally possible and socially acceptable, but I'm not now. Anyway, I shouldn't make jokes about what I'm trying to teach you. You want to ask feelings and emotions questions, whereas you guys, and you don't need to be an engineer or a programmer, you guys ask facts and data questions. How big was it? How many dollars? How many kilometers? How many girls did you sleep with? How many points did you score? And the thing I'll say on the facts and data questions, if you can really connect emotionally in a powerful way with girls, sex is just so easy. The girls are throwing themselves at you, even the really hot ones. Tess, do you want to talk a bit more about how with guys really connecting with you? You can take inspiration from some of the questions I asked, like never know about her hometown, or they literally started crying, like not just little tears. I mean, like crying, getting tissues. All the other female coaches were up giving them hugs in front of like 18 dudes. Just because I asked them good questions. It's not because I'm some hot guy, I can tell you that. Just talk about when a guy connects with you emotionally, how that as a model, how that just flies in past everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there are different ranges of emotions. Like some of the examples I gave about surfing were a little bit more, upbeat, exciting, that sort of thing. And it really depends on the setting and what stage of the conversation relationship you're in. But yeah, getting to the more deep and really personal side of like feelings and emotions type questions. Obviously, when she's shared some like personal stuff, it just really helps to bring down the barriers. You're basically it's quite an intimate conversation you're having when it's quite personal, so that really denotes to building trust. When you're sharing like even a little bit of vulnerability, or just something that's personal that you haven't shared with a lot of other people, and connecting with that, so it just builds trust, and that obviously helps a lot when it comes to the bedroom as well. If you've had an intimate relationship in terms of your conversation, that really helps, to build trust that translates to the bedroom as well.
Absolutely. I'll round this point out with a quote from Monique, who, if you go onto main YouTube channel, I think she was in the 3 Secrets to Touch video. My dream living in Sydney is to go on a date with some guy and just have the conversations that I have with my clients on boot camps when I'm working. So yeah, dating in Sydney and indeed all over America and most of Western Europe and Canada, etc., is so shit that Monique's literally having better conversations with her clients on boot camps, because we've taught them, than any guy, a New York Fashion Week model and proper high level catwalk agency model can meet in her real life. So yeah, it's a pretty grim situation in Sydney. It's a pretty grim situation in Sydney, to put it mildly. So yeah, I've just lost myself in the slides. If you're where are we going? So yeah, if these are problems that you can test, can you fix up the screen? Are you worried about being all alone in your 40s, 50s, and 60s? Do you know how to do it?
Is it?
Okay.
Sorry. There we go. Is that
that'll do. That'll do. That's great. Are you worried about being all alone? Have you lost a lot of your confidence with women? Are you sick and tired of swiping on dating apps, getting nowhere, or going to bars when you're in your 40s, let alone 50s or 60s? Have you been single a fair while, or just out of long-term relationship? Maybe most of your friends are married or at least taken, and you're stuck home alone. Maybe the thought of going and talking to women, just you freeze up with approach anxiety, particularly if they're hot, or you're really scared of getting rejected. I'm sure pretty much every one of you wants to date quality women. And many of our clients, they're pretty busy and they don't have hours and hours a week to run around like you see on YouTube, just hassling girls in the street. So if that's you, you might really appreciate what I'm about to share with you. To attract high quality, girlfriend quality women in the least possible time for you, we have a solution, and that's date and approach coaching role play with Tess. And we're going to give away something for free tomorrow, or tonight, give it away tonight for tomorrow and the next day, that would ordinarily cost you $1,500. So that's Tess there, bona fide catwalk model. No, this ain't AI, that's Tess. And yeah, she's the boss of all these girls, and we do these events, and these are the women Tess helps me train. It gives you an idea what the boot camps look like. Lots of fun, lots of very, very pretty girls and a bunch of guys, many of whom become friends. And yeah, you get to practice all the drills and blah, 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 go on dates with them. And yeah, just completely turn your life around. Very hands-on practical training, everything you need from first talking to them up to taking them to the bedroom, all the way up to swapping spit with them. You don't get to do that except on the platinum event, which I haven't really got the girls to accept yet. And yeah, that's the caliber of girls you get to work with, and gives you an idea there. So we've been doing this since 2006. And we now do an extraordinary job on Zoom. We've got a bunch of American clients, some of whom have gone from basically living, well, homeless to sleeping with models in one extreme case. I won't mention his name, but he may be watching in the replay. So yeah, and the first step and something that can really change your life is to actually go on a date with this beautiful girl here. We've got a whole bunch of other girls who can help you too. Natalia's wonderful as well. So what's going to happen is you'll go practice your approaches, whatever you do now, and you'll go role play dates. And then Tess is going to give you her expert feedback. And she'll tell you what you're doing right. Some of you are doing stuff right. She'll tell you what you're doing wrong. And then she'll tell you step by step exactly what you need to do to succeed. And then you'll just do the date again. And then she'll figure out what mistakes you're making this time. And then she'll give you more feedback. Then you practice again. Exactly like you got a boxing coach or a Muay Thai coach, and you're just practicing sparring with them. And before you know it, you go from a complete weakling to you can beat the living crap out of like 98% of guys, even guys 15 and 20 kilos heavier than you. It's exactly what it's like with dating. And yeah, once you finish this exercise, it takes roughly 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. Tess creates a custom dating plan for you, which is written feedback. And yeah, if you just do one, of the three things she puts in her top three, your life with women will never be the same again. If you can do all three, your life with women will be completely unrecognizable. Your friends, your family, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife, they won't even believe the results you're getting with women. We've had this so many times. Even if you never even come to a YouTube live or ever see Tess or James ever again. If you're skeptical, we've had Me Too, we've had the world shut down with COVID, we've had everyone working, dating, shopping, watching movies, exercising, everything from home. The hot women are so freaking lonely, it's not funny. You only need to get a bit of skill and take a bit of action to get results that would be unthinkable 5 or 10 years ago. Yeah, we literally charge $1,500 for it. It can be yours tomorrow. For the grand sum of $1, all you do is do a quick call with me to make sure you're not some sort of a weirdo. You're going to freak out my very best coach, and then I'll let you loose on Tess. Yeah, as you can see, I'll just give you one example. This guy flew over from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a clinical psychologist when he was 57 or 58. Series of horrendously toxic relationships. Most of his life single. If he wasn't single, he was in these toxic relationships. And he applied the training like a motherfucker. And within 6 or 9 months, he'd had 4 women on the go. The eldest was 36, the youngest was 26. So they're all nearly half his age. And I can't remember exactly, but there was another clinical psychologist, there was a yoga teacher, there was an entrepreneur, and there's a professional fly around the country singer, all of whom are extremely attractive girls. And he's like saying, I'm doing better with 60, with hotter girls than I've had at any point in my life. And this guy literally went to an Ivy League university. We've literally got thousands of that. I could tell you about this guy another time. But let's get you back to, okay, for those in Australia, our business really is booming with just a very small number of YouTube live views. So yeah, not $1,495, which is the normal price, just $1 tomorrow. Click link below. You'll see it in the description and in the comments. And yeah, jump in before we take this offer away. Next Aussie boot camps, you can see there, August and October. And we're really planning to get over the US in 2026 because we're picking up some great clients. And I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, book a date with Tess. Okie dokie. Next up, we have, for fuck's sake, don't do a lot of the stuff you see on YouTube. Teasing, Banter. Oh, no, sorry, I'm screwing up. Have a proven structure to follow or you're completely lost. The reason you don't get the results with women you want and why you're watching tonight is because you're just trying to wing it the whole time. Yeah, I mean, if the girl you're talking to is not very attractive or she's really desperate, this can work out some of the time. Maybe if you work in sales or you're tall, rich, and handsome or something, it might work for you a bit of the time. But even then, you're going to miss so many great opportunities. You're not going to be going out and getting the woman you really want yourself. So, just to give you a practical example of this, I was in a beach in Lombok and I was doing beach sprints. It was the middle of the day, and I was, whatever, not dressed very well, and this really hot girl, like 5'10", walks down the beach, great body. Then she walks out and she walks down the beach and then she starts undressing. And I'm like, whoa, take a look at that. So it was a ridiculously difficult approach. There was no one else around for 300 meters. She just stripped off to a bikini. She obviously wanted to be on her own. And I was sort of running behind her. So, and the worst part is I was in these horrible, crappy trail running shoes, shitty shorts, just beat up board shorts, and a horrible old t-shirt. So I'm sweating like a pig, and I looked like shit. I could have never done a stupid hardcore street pickup artist approach in that situation because she'd have probably screamed. I was roughly 30 years older than her. So what I do is I walk past and I just she looks at me briefly and I hold her eye contact and I give her the biggest smile I can with this crappy little mouth. And then I go, oh, hey, how's your day going? Just lots of energy, like Steve Irwin. Oh, hey, how's your day going? She's like, okay. And I go, oh, so tell me the best thing you got planned for the week. So she invested a tiny bit and, hey, how's your day going? Okay. So tons of energy. So what's the best thing you got planned this week? And she goes, not much. I'm just sort of packing up to go off to Tasmania. I go, oh, Tasmania. I'm an Australian. What are your plans to do in Tasmania? Now, believe it or not, I've been to over 100 countries. I've never been to Tasmania, which is kind of pathetic. So she talked a bit at Tasmania. I didn't really have much to offer on that. So then I'm like, oh, okay, well, Tasmania didn't go that well. And it's still really weird. I'm standing way above her, dressed like shit. I'm 30 years older than her. She's sitting there in a bikini, like looking pretty flash and very conscious of this weird old guy standing over her. So I go, oh, okay, Tasmania. It sounds like you like to travel. So tell me, where's somewhere else really cool you've traveled to that you enjoyed? Something like that. She goes, oh, my favorite was Costa Rica. I said, oh, Costa Rica. I was there for 3 months. Tell me what you love so much about Costa Rica. And then that sort of got her talking. And then it got on to the fact that she was at a hippie sort of community. And then she still wasn't super comfortable at this point, even though she was talking happily. I go, oh, wow, tell me about the hippie commune or whatever it was in Costa Rica. I might not look like it, but I'm about as hippie as they come. I often sleep on the floor on damp concrete so I can earth better. And I've even been known to leave me crystals out in the full moon. I said it as a joke like that. And as soon as I said that, she suddenly became pretty interested in me. And yeah, we talked for about 5 minutes more and I was literally starting to get really, really sunburned. So I just said something like, oh, hey, listen, it's great talking to you. I've got to get going. And as soon as I've got to get going, she asked me for my number. And not a word of lie. I mean, this girl could have been one of my female coaches. She was stacked like that. When she lay back, they stuck right up. They were super firm. They weren't fake. And she had the hip to waist ratio and long, beautiful legs. But this is the bad bit of the story. I did super smooth. I was really proud of myself because I was a bit out of form then. But yeah, when she lay back, I noticed there was a tiny bit of hair in her legs, and I thought maybe she's just traveling and she's busy. But when I saw the full fucking pits, I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So I had, I think it was about 51, and I had a hippie girl back at my place who was cute and had an incredible rack. And I just remember her lying back like this with her hands behind her head, these big, beautiful, whatever they were, 22, 23-year-old tits staring up at me. And then the armpits right above them. And I'm just like, the little boy between my legs was not playing ball. It was not playing ball. So I have gone full armpit hair hippie 3 or 4 times or more in my life, but I'm just too old for that at 55. So yeah. I decided, even though it was probably a good opportunity because she was off to Tasmania soon, I'm leaving soon. I decided this would be not an opportunity I was going to pursue. So Tess, just tell me about what it's like, the structure we teach and the advantages that gives guys and your average experiences with guys. Just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the structure, it just gives you control. Like when you understand you've got a plan, and yeah, you can follow that. You don't feel like you're out of your depths. You can stick to that. You know exactly what's going to work. You've practiced it, and it gives you control. It makes you feel secure in what you're doing. Also, yeah, there was something else I wanted to say. I've just been distracted. James, you've got something on your eyebrow.
Oh, thank
You've
you.
got a little. You're welcome. Yeah.
What was it?
Like a little crumb or something.
Oh, wow,
Like
thank you.
that's all right.
Oh, that's really
um,
sweet. I've just spent the
yeah.
entire YouTube live looking like an absolute Fruit Loop.
No,
Have we got
it
like
wasn't there before. It came out of
sorry?
nowhere. It wasn't
Sorry?
there before. It came out of nowhere.
Maybe I've been blessed by angels or something.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it just gives you control, guys, and that is everything. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't have any structure, you don't have anything to rely on, you're just taking a leap of faith, it's probably not going to work very well. So we're giving you something that you can rely on here.
So yeah, imagine you're a builder trying to put up a building and you get a pile of bricks and steel beams and wooden beams and cement. You go, oh, I'll just throw this shit together and see what happens. You're going to fail. You're going to fail massively. Even if you've done it before, you're probably going to fail because every building's different. You need a structure to follow, at least till you get really, really good. Particularly if you haven't slept with 50 or more really attractive girls already. What was I going to say? And even if you did that in your 20s and 30s, if you're in your 50s now, it's not the same game, buddy. It's not the same game. Dating's changed so much. Just talk about like the first time you work with guys and they're telling you, oh, I'm sensing a goth vibe, or they're not listening to a word you say, or you're giving them the free hints, the bonus information, they're just ignoring it. Talk about what they're like 3 or 4 sessions later. It's like, just this guy is really smooth. In some cases, already getting dates with models. They're already getting really attractive girls into bed. Just talk about, obviously it's my method and it's your genius teaching it, but just tell me about having the structure, how that makes guys so much more confident and how quick some of them can progress.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've had a few guys who've been on these just talking about that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. I've heard some really beautiful things, even guys saying, not just with dating, but also improving their relationships with family, with friends, etc. They're like, wow, it's unbelievable how much a simple structure and yeah, a little bit of listening and open-ended questions, etc. Really gets people to open up to you. And yeah, I mean, I hear it time and time again. I think it's just in the beginning when you haven't practiced these things, like a lot of guys, the way they've learnt to communicate is really closed and really sort of like banter oriented, because I think that's how a lot of guys communicate with each other and bond, especially in Western culture. But that's not how women speak to each other. It's not how we bond. It's not how we communicate. So for you guys to try and use that stuff on us and expect it to work, yeah, it just doesn't really make sense. So you do really need to learn some new skills to tap into how women like to communicate in order to get them to open up to you. And yeah, I mean, time and time again, yeah, even after just 2-3 sessions, guys will be like, wow, I've been practicing this stuff, even, just on the girl at the coffee shop or my work colleagues or my mom or my sister or whatever. And yeah, it was amazing. They were like, wow, like we haven't had a conversation like this in years. Yeah, it's really cool. I've heard some really beautiful stories about, yeah, just relationships with daughters, with, yeah, just with women in general, and how well this really works. So, yeah.
Yeah, if any of you guys in the comments, whether watching live or the replay, I mean, I can think of a few of you. Well, I won't say the names in case you're not comfortable with it, but Vichor, Eric, there's a whole bunch of you guys who've done incredibly well. Eric especially, Vichor after the shit he's been through. So anyone watching who's had an experience, please share it. Okie dokie. I think we'll get to the comments, but next thing we're going to do is have a backup. This is super important and super simple. We might just have a quick check of the comments. Tess, do you want to run through them? We might do one or two questions now. We'll do a couple more points, and then we'll get back to more questions. Just say hi to everyone. I'll put the first one up.
Hey guys. Martin, hey, welcome. Stevie, we've got Landon, a few regulars here. Let's see who else. We've got Ralph, we've got Anthony, History, Peter, Boyce, heaps of people here. MJ, Hundy, Ivan. Cool, guys. Thanks for all your comments and questions. Let's get stuck into a few of the questions. Okay. Here we go. From Stevie. How do I read her signals so I know what to talk about next? Good question, Stevie. Do you want to start off with that one, James?
Yeah, a lot of it is her body language towards you. Is she still holding eye contact? Is she enthusiastic? Is she nodding? The biggest thing, if she's getting bored, is her body language will tend to face away. She'll reduce her eye contact. I mean, the big thing in these days is her phone will come out. So they're the big things to know. If she starts to get in any way flirty with you, the more invested she is in the conversation, the better you're doing. So basically, the more excited she is, the more detail she's giving you, the more animated she is, the better your questions, the better you're doing. If you're not getting any of those signs, particularly if her body language is starting to move away from you, that's a sign she's maybe getting a bit bored, and that's a good opportunity to go, oh, so ask another question, ask another open-ended question. We'll teach you about backup soon. Tess, do you want to add anything to that or give your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, women will give you hints as well. When she's giving you bonus information, she'll be like the intonation in her voice, or you might notice her eyes light up when she talks about certain things. Like she might say, "Yeah, I went surfing," and I also just sat at home and kind of watched a movie as well. Like obviously, you could tell, like, I got excited when I said surfing. Yeah, that was obviously a highlight. So that gives you an indication that's probably what she wants to talk about as well. Oftentimes as well, guys, we try to make it really easy for you when you will mention something more than once. It's like you ask a question and she sometimes will be like, oh, she's said this thing that seems unrelated to my question even, but it's clear that that's the thing she wants to talk about if she keeps mentioning it. So pay attention if you hear something more than once. It's definitely means she wants to talk about that. Those are a few signals for sure.
Tess just gave you a huge one, which is like, what do you got planned for the weekend? Oh, I'm going to do a yoga class and have dinner with mum, and I'm going paragliding. Which one should you talk about? Most guys don't even realize. She kind of will talk about paragliding. Next question, Tess. Thanks, Stevie. Good question.
Yeah, good question. Another one from Stevie is, what if she's giving short answers? How do I get her talking more? Good one as well.
That's excellent. One of our favorite techniques that Tess will teach you a lot, and you'll use a lot with Tess on Zoom, is oh, cool. So tell me more about that. What's the best thing you got planned for the weekend? Oh, I'm probably just gonna do some more of my study for university. Oh, cool. Tell me more about what you're studying at university. Or it could just be, oh, I've just got to catch up on shopping. It's probably not the best thing to talk about. It's like, oh, so cool. Tell me more about what the shopping you got to catch up on. Which probably isn't the best thing, but if that's all she gives you. Or even better, you could go, oh, cool. Sounds like you're going to catch up on the shopping. Tell me what you're most looking forward to do when you finish with the shopping. That's what we call a transition question. Did you want to add anything to that, Tess, or do one more question before we get back to the points?
Yeah, no, definitely. That covers it. There are definitely some more advanced techniques as well, which I won't get into here. If she's being a little bit more like closed and standoffish, but that's yeah, it's not worth mentioning here. This is kind of, it's a bit too advanced for today. But yeah, that's the basic one. The tell me more. Yeah.
One more question from, and we'll get on with it. I think Stevie got in first.
Yeah. There was a comment from Virtual bonus info, and this was in relation to the demonstration we did earlier. So well done, you picked up on that one. Yeah, you didn't use what she gave you. Well done, you were spot on there. Really good.
Does anyone have their questions on surfing?
Yes, there were a few questions that came through on surfing. Do you want me to go through them now?
Yeah.
They're just mixed in with some of these questions. So here's one from Peter. How did you get into surfing? That's a great one.
9 out of 10. That's good, man.
Yes, good. Tell me. Oh, here we go. One from Martin. Tess, can you tell me what was it like when you caught your first big wave and went through a tube? How did it make you feel?
That was good up until tube. Tess, have you ever been in a proper tube?
I haven't. It's on my bucket list, but I have a feeling that it's it might be impossible for me. Yeah, it's harder than it seems.
It's incredibly difficult. I know some really skilled guys who surf for years before they got a proper barrel. So this is what if like, Tess, can you tell me what it was like when you caught your first big wave, cross out and went through a tube? And that's like a 9.5 out of 10 question. But yeah, by putting in, I haven't got barreled on pipeline yet alongside Kerry Slater yet. Like a lot of guys will meet my female coaches like, what do you do? I'm a model. I go, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, have you done Victoria's Secret yet? Like, no, I'm just fucking do e-com in Australia. But the guys ask the dumbest questions where you think of a girl, I'm doing a knitting class. Are you professional? No, I've done 3 fucking classes, you Burke. But this is what guys do all the time. That they just have no sense or common sense in their questions. So not picking on Martin, but yeah, by expecting that some random, I know tons of girls that surf. I doubt any of them have been in a proper tube. That's quite an advanced surfing skill. So yeah, anyway, let's do the surfing questions and we'll move on. So if anyone is just tuned in, we ask guys to test. Hey, Tess, what's your plan for the weekend? Oh, I'm off surfing. We ask guys to ask their questions. We give them a rating out of 10. So, Martin, if we cross out the barrel thing, the tube thing, you're going to get a 9.5 out of 10. But with that, you're probably going to get a 4 out of 10. It's a really dumb question, simply because you're asking so much. Like, imagine Tess. Meets me and she goes, you enjoy basketball, have you? And I go, yeah. She goes, have you played with Michael Jordan yet? I'm like, no. Have you dunked on Michael Jordan yet? I haven't had the opportunity. So yeah, that's the sort of thing a guy would do. They just take it to an extreme level. You're a model. Have you modeled with I don't know, Adriana Lima? It's like, no, of course I haven't, you fucking idiot. So guys have to put so much more thought into their questions, not just the first thing that comes to their mind, so that there's not this uncomfortable silence, which tonight's going to help you with. Let's do some more surfing questions.
From Voice 1000, Tess, what's your favorite part about surfing?
That's really good. That's a 9 out of 10.
Another one from Martin. How do you feel out there waiting for your wave? What goes through your mind?
Martin's come back strong. Yeah, that's probably a 9.5, actually. I wouldn't make the first question you ask about surfing, but as far as the second or the third or fourth goes, that's like 9.5, maybe 9 3/4. That's unreal, man. I believe Martin's a bit of an artist, so his artistic streak's coming out. That's the best one so far. Any more?
Yeah, a few. One from Landon. Is riding a wave, or does riding a wave equate to your true sense of freedom? That's interesting. It is a closed-ended question. Remember, anything that starts with is going to be yes or no. So that could be improved on. But I like the idea behind it, like the feeling of freedom. Just need to make it open-ended.
I might just comment on that. I think Landon is a chartered accountant, if I remember rightly. I think he worked with some big companies because I think we've done a Zoom call with him. Yeah, this is what a lot of smart guys do. They make it. They've got a great idea for a question, but they make it so fucking complicated. So fucking complicated. A, you've turned it into a closed-ended question. B, you're leading her and you're using wanky language, a true sense of freedom. So what you might start with is, so how do you feel when you're riding a wave? What was the feeling the first time you were like riding a wave? And then based on the girl's answer, you could possibly volunteer something. Oh, wow, it sounds like, a true sense of freedom. Tell me more about that. So yeah, as an actual question, I don't like that at all. But as a concept for a question or a theme of surfing, it's excellent. But yeah, that's an excellent example of what you guys do. We give you a conversation structure. The smart guys try to sort of run with it and add their own little flair to it, and they often fuck it up. So yeah, keep them open-ended and don't lead the girl too much. Anyway, any more surfing questions?
Yeah, a few. Tess, what was it like when you first surfed?
That's 9.5 out of 10. That's you could make it a bit more, put a bit more weight on it by saying, tell me what it was like the first time you hopped up on a surfboard, or tell me what it was like the first time you rode a wave, or tell me what it was like the first time you rode actually down the face of a wave. But yeah, that's 9.5. Excellent question, boys. Go again. Anything else, Tess?
Yeah, one from Martin. Have you been bullied? I read surfers are very territorial and feel they own the beach and waves. I saw Point Break many times.
This is why smart guys jerk off to porn so much. They just overthink everything. Yeah, I know, and like Martin, yeah, it's just too complicated. And there's so much facts and data and detail in them. You could say, have you ever had any dramas out there surfing with other surfers? But again, that would be like the 36th question to ask. You want to delve deep into her feelings and emotions around surfing. So that one's probably a 3. But don't worry, it's just a good idea. You're using your considerable brain. I think you got a great one earlier, Martin, to make it so complicated, make it hard for her to coach. I don't think too many guys are going to actually punch Tess. I've had lots of friends who've been punched surfing, and some of the toughest dudes I know are really good surfers who are constantly dropping in on everyone else, and they've got to be prepared to get punched. So they've had to go learn Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu just to stay safe in the surf. No, literally, professional surfers are some of the toughest dudes you'll ever meet, because they're constantly dropping in on guys at popular breaks and scaring them when they're under no risk because the guy's such a good surfer. A very close friend of mine who I played Australian football with was one of the West Australia's best surfers, till he got drunk and died in a car accident like all those Perth guys, which was really sad for a lot of people. So much potential. Okay, any more surfing questions? We better move on.
There's one more, last one from MJ Hundy. Tess, my hand-eye coordination is such that I trip over my own feet walking on the path. How does it make you feel having the necessary balance to do all the awesome stuff on a board?
Okay, now for sense of humor, I'll give you a 9.5. For something that you start talking about when some new hot girl mentions she likes surfing, it's probably like a 3. It's just not good. The necessary balance. Yeah, you just want to ask her feelings and emotions about surfing. So I love the self-deprecating humor, but it's probably, unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio or Jordan or someone with massive attraction and social proof, you don't want to start bagging yourself straight away in the first 2 minutes generally. Again, you want to get back to her feelings and emotions around surfing, like a lot of the other questions. So if you guys want to watch this again or you skim through this, anything I gave over a 9 to is pretty solid. But yeah, hopefully you guys learned a ton out of that. Okie dokie. Next up, we say this is because that book, The Game, was published in 2006 or 5, but we're constantly getting guys do Zoom calls. We did a Zoom call with a guy from America. So much potential, handsome, charismatic, but some of the shit he was doing just did my head in. It's like, and apparently got scammed out of $5,000 just learning the dumbest shit. Can you remember the cold read he did on you? It was something terrible.
Oh, you look like you're Italian.
Sorry?
Like that. I think he said, "Oh, it looks like you've got some Italian in you," or something.
She's like Dutch Filipino, essentially, South African Filipino. What the hell was she talking about Italian? I thought he was going to say, "You want some?" But anyway. So yeah, so no teasing. Oh, I've screwed that up. Oh, whoops, he's got it wrong. We'll come back to that. He's got it wrong really badly. Okay, can you go to have a backup, please?
Oh, here we go. They're in
That's
the
my
wrong
fault.
order.
I changed them, so I thought this would be a better order. Okay, have a backup. I sucked at this for years, but I'd already become successful at a few other things in life. So I had a framework to get successful with women. So I did logical things that give me an advantage over all other guys, even though when I was 30, I was essentially a virgin. You can debate. I had sex when I was 27, but I don't know if it actually got up hard enough to actually ejaculate inside her versus outside her. So we'll never know. Anyway, yeah, you probably put a huge amount of time into planning and strategizing your career, your work, your education, your hobbies, your interests, probably your health, your muscles, your biceps, much of what you're doing to get better with women in terms of muscles, biceps. But you just think this amazing girl is going to magically fall in your lap and start sucking you off. And then you'll live happily ever after, just like you see in Hollywood movies. You're an idiot. It's like, if that's what you think is going to happen, you're an idiot. You've got to go work at this girl thing. There's sensible ways to do it, like book a date with Tess, but there is work involved. So if you meet a girl you really like and she agrees to go on a date with you, you've got to have backup questions. You've got to have backup questions ready, unless you're really good. I'm supposedly, at least used to be really good at this. If I meet a girl I really genuinely like, even after I've slept with X number of girls, which is my fair share, and a lot of models and women from over 33 countries, probably 50 or 60 cities, you need to have backup questions in place. So if I get a date with a girl I genuinely like, I think, yeah, I definitely want to take this girl to bed, and I could possibly date her for a few weeks or a month or longer, then I'm going to, when I meet her, I ask her out, I go back as soon as I'm free. I got this from a model who dated me, who I dated. I'm going to pull out my phone, and I'm just going to go, pretend it's Tess. Tess, so she got a degree in Chinese medicine. She paraglides. Wow, she paraglides. If she volunteered it, she modeled for a while when she was at university. She's traveled to these 7 different places. She's really into acupuncture and alternative medicine and Chinese medicine, all this stuff. She's half Filipino. She traveled back to Philippines recently for certificate. I'd just make a list of everything. Then before the date, I'd pull out that list and I'd go, okay. Wow. So tell me, my God, I've paraglided and I've skydived a bunch of times and bungeed, I don't know, maybe 40 times. Tell me what it's like when actually paragliding, flying around like a bird. I wouldn't be that verbose, but I'd refine that question and be like, so tell me what got you into surfing. Tell me what you love so much about surfing. And if I did actually go on a date with Tess, wow. I know quite a bit about Ayurveda, and I'm fascinated with First Nation people and the way they stay so healthy. Tell me more about Chinese medicine. It sounds incredible from what I know. And I'd just let her talk about Chinese medicine basically till we ended up in bed, which I've done many times with different girls. So, yeah, but you got to prepare. You got to do your homework. We help you. And you got to have general backup questions. You got to have a structure and a formula. to pull these questions, I'm obviously very good at. It's part of what I do for a living. The other thing you should have, even if you don't do the homework with backup questions, if you work with Tess, she can just hand this to you in a Google Doc. It's just a whole bunch of questions that you can ask in any sort of situation. I'll just give you a couple of examples today. Oh, so tell me who's been the biggest influence on your life and who you are today. Or tell me, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? Or this tells you a lot about how dateable a girl is. Tell me, if you could have your dream dinner party with any 5 people in history, alive or dead, who would it be? If girls are like, oh, my mum, my best friend, you probably haven't got a girl who's got a hell of a lot going on upstairs. And just some simple ones. Oh, so where do you dream of traveling to? Another one of my favorites, if you saved Elon Musk kid R2D2 XYZ from being run over by a Tesla truck that's autopilot wasn't working very well, and you pushed the pram out the way and saved the kid's life, and Elon comes up to you and says, hey, give me your bank account, I'll chuck 100 million there for you. What would you do with the rest of your life? You don't need to be that so colorful with it. But if you ask this sort of shit on, if you do this sort of shit on a date, the dates just go so easy. So, and you want to have this list easy to access. So if you are on a date and you're like, what do I say? She's so cute. Look at those tits. And you just completely fuck the date up. By the time you're like going, you go, I just got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a sec. And you go off the bathroom. And then if you're like me and you're really shit at this, you sit on the throne and you just run through and you try to memorize some questions. You maybe even say them out loud to yourself. What do you most love about surfing? Tell me about the person who influenced you most. You even write them on your fucking hand. I've done that before, and girls said, what's that shit written on your hand? I don't know. It's private. That's not lying. I wrote this shit in my hand. I was so bad. You got to give yourself help if you're not very good at this. Tess, talk more about the systems and structures and questions we give guys and how that gets guys who are just completely shit when we first meet them and getting real results in the real world after 3 or 4 dates.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having the repertoire of open-ended questions that we practice time and time again over Zoom is really, really helpful. Obviously, when things get a bit stale and you're like, oh shit, I can't think of any bonus information that she's giving me, you can always use something that you've practiced over and over again to kind of start with a blank slate. Or it usually just never even happens because you understand how to keep the conversation going. So guys, it becomes really easy once you practice this stuff, and you come to realize as well that a lot of the really great questions that you ask around a topic, they're pretty universal as well. Like, they work really well for lots of different topics. So once you've kind of practiced that, it just works universally. It's not like you have to learn specific questions for every specific topic. It's it is pretty universal.
It's a good point Tess has made. Once you practice with Tess a bit and you really get the hang of this, you don't need to go to the extent of actually preparing before the date and writing up questions. But I still think you should. I really still think you should. Because, if you're a busy guy and you do meet a girl you really like, you think could potentially be your girlfriend, that's a huge moment. Because there's a lot of girls who might be pretty cute, but they're not worth dating. If you meet a girl you think's worth dating and she agrees to go on a date with you, and you're a busy guy, and most of the people we coach, most of the people here tonight, because we're really targeting over 40s up to sort of 60s, you don't have like 400,000 hours left on this place, mate. And you don't want to be in your 60s and your 50s, and let alone your 70s or 80s, and alone and watching YouTube and fucking Netflix and jerking off to whatever fucking porn they have. There's a lot more to life than that. So if you do meet a girl you think's got legs as a girlfriend, you really don't want to fuck it up. Now, for you guys watching YouTube, definitely have a backup. Do everything I've said in point number 4. But even you guys who are already working with Tess and good at this, I would still go to some trouble to have a backup. Because then if you do, I mean, sometimes if you get a girl you really like her, she's nervous, which is most of you guys don't realize, and that makes you more nervous. And then the nervousness is just compounding catastrophe. So you're the man, you're the one who's got to ride over the nervousness. So yeah, if you do start to struggle, just say, hey, I'm gonna go take a piss, and you're using that as your little homework break to sort of study up and come back the smooth guy. And as what's her name, Mia Wallace says in Pulp Fiction, don't say I'm gonna take a piss, because that's a little more information I needed, Vincent, but you go right ahead. I've seen that movie a few too many times, by the way. It's a good one. Shame he hasn't made too many good movies since, in my opinion, apart from Django. But I thought every other movie was a savage disappointment from the great man. He should have been the next Orson Welles. He was so talented. Okay, next up we have... okay, we'll do one more we'll do a review now. So yeah, the real goal of this is to answer your questions. So yeah, we really want your questions. We'll go through questions. Any questions you can ask about the hint hunter technique. Women drop hints. You've got to be smart enough to hunt them down and remember them and put them on a spreadsheet. We also sometimes call this bonus information. Next one is ask feelings and emotion questions. Stop asking the fucking girl how long her surfboard is. I should say stop asking the girl how long her fucking surfboard is. I can't even swear very well. I'm a bit tired at the moment. Ask her, tell me your favorite thing about surfing. You got to have a proven structure or you're lost. If you work with Tess, she'll give you a proven structure and make you really, really good at it. If you're just watching off YouTube, you just got to do the best you can to piece the structure we've given you here together. Any of our YouTube lives about conversation are a great start. I think it was 4 social skills, and there was another one, questions to ask girls to make them like you or something. That's going to give you a huge head start over most of what we've seen on YouTube. But it's not as good as working with Tess, but it's a great start. And then number 5 is to have a backup. Number 4 is to have a backup. So have backup questions written in your phone, as gay as that sounds. And then, so yeah, ask us your questions about these things. And then no teasing, no cold reads, no banter, no PUA, no dating coach on YouTube bullshit. And there's a lot of it, because I'm looking at some of these successful people. I'm looking at what they called their various YouTube videos that are big hits. And then quite often I'll look at the transcript in AI, and then I'm just looking at some of the advice. Not, to be honest, most of them, because the problem is, particularly with some of the women who have big YouTube followings, they're just telling you whatever they think from their sample size after they did this great marketing course or some killer marketer decided to work with them. And yeah, Tess is obviously a very pretty girl, but what she's giving you is 20 years of IP from like 50 girls who look like her, or 60 girls who look like her, all of whom have coached hundreds of guys and given feedback to these thousands of guys in total, where they've worked with them for 45 hours. And then we've followed many of the guys for a year and tried to completely max out their results and figured out what really works. It's not just, oh, some guy did this to me in the gym and it really worked, and I thought I'd tell you on YouTube and maybe it'll work for you too. It's like, I mean, you're just wanking if you're following a lot of these tips, whereas this is really structured, really proven on thousands of guys, and it's fed through and approved by dozens of tests. So yeah, don't do most of the PUA bullshit, and there's so much of it. So many good marketers and YouTubers are just reteaching David D'Angelo and Mystery Method. So especially for the average guy, the teasing, the cold reads, the banter, where you can't read signals very well, it's a catastrophe. Tess, what was the guy said? Oh, I'm sensing some sort of Italian vibe. and the girl's like half Filipino, half Dutch, German, essentially, Dutch, South African, essentially. I mean, did you take any offense to that? Or was it just like, you're so used to it, you just think, well, what a dickhead?
No, I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how do you respond to that? It's like, okay, what gave you that impression? Or, like, do you expect me to say, no, you're wrong? And then, I don't know, it's just awkward. It's like you basically just said, this is what I have assumed about you. I'm projecting that onto you right now. It's like you're not connecting with me whatsoever. You're basically just like, you're making it about yourself. It's really weird.
In so many cases, like, this is me pretending to be some alpha male, like my fucking dating coach on YouTube taught me, and I'm really a scared little boy who hasn't had sex for like 2 years. Another example, we had a guy who was literally a professional writer making pretty good money. He came up to Tess, and then he's talk about how that guy, if you remember, he was talking to you naturally when we're asking him the questions about his dating life. And then as soon as I said, okay, you're going on a date with Tess, he's just, zip, he just morphs into this complete fuckwit. He just morphs into this complete fuckwit overnight and goes, this normal, cool guy we could easily mold to do really well with women. He was a professional writer. He was well-traveled. He did a lot of meditation. He's ticking all these boxes. He made decent money. He talks to Tess naturally, just answering questions about his dating life. Then he's, okay, approach Tess. He morphs into a complete fuckhead and goes, I'm sensing this, what is it? This sort of heavy goth vibe from you. I'm just like, you fuckwit, you complete fuckwit. But he couldn't see what's wrong with it because his YouTube guru did that all the time. So yeah, just don't do that shit, please. You can be doing so well with a girl, but it just takes one silly line like that and she dismisses you as a moron. Or worse, in 2026, dobs you into the cops for sexual harassment. Apparently, cold approaching a girl badly can be considered sexual assault these days. There's a guy in Glasgow, Scotland, who's literally in jail for that shit. I'm not saying what he was doing was good or acceptable, but it's not something you get a jail sentence for. I don't know, unless you're sticking a knife in her or something, or something in between your legs and her. Women have been bombarded with all this. Okay, teasing, you get, you're a bad girl. You're a bad girl. You're like my bratty big sister or something. The guys do this. The negs is when it's like you start abusing her. How would you do that? A girl negged me once when I was out in a boot camp because I was, much better dressed than the average Australian guy when I was on a boot camp. She goes, "Oh, you're so stylish and well presented, but you really need a different haircut because you're really starting to thin on top." And I'm just like, what the fuck, bitch? I've got a big nose and a weird pointy cheek and a grey beard and bad posture. I'm skinny as fuck. And I've got these little Donald Trump hands. But honey, I ain't not going bald. That's not an insult that's really going to get any water with me. And this was 10 years ago. And she's just talking shit. So I just thought she was a complete wanker from the word go. And this is me. This is a man with a woman. So what's it like with a woman with a man? You got to remember, women have been bombarded with this nonsense since that book, The Game. And the last 2 or 3 generations of women, as soon as they hear any of that corny, weird, cocky, funny, fake shit, they just think you're a complete loser. Get away from me. And the thing is, some guys, like the guy we talked to from Florida, girls probably played along with him because he was a hot guy and he was really charismatic for some reason. And it's just like my female coaches talk about this all the time. Some guy came up to me on the train and he just talked this complete shit. And I go, "Oh, why didn't you tell him to go away?" And the girls are going, "Oh, it was really fun listening to his bullshit." I go, "You ever going to go date with him?" I go, "Not in a million years." Because it's the girls that you're just entertaining the girls. They're just laughing at you, not with you. So stop the PUA, stop the cocky funny, stop the stupid pickup artist stuff straight away. Okie dokie. if you've heard us say it on more than one YouTube live, that's because it's really important. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and you should use them in that ratio. I sound like Granny. Get the woman doing 75% of the talking. It's the magic cheat code to fast sex, quick sex, close to guaranteed sex, if you can start doing the touch, eye contact, body language we teach you. Okay, this is a statement from me. The more promiscuous and successful with women I am, the less percentage of the talking I do with women, the more likely I am to get sex, like almost certain when I'm really promiscuous. The quicker the sex comes, the better the sex will be, the more chance she will become addicted to me. Equally, the less promiscuous, less successful with women I am at any particular time, the greater percentage of talking I do, the more I talk about myself, the more I inadvertently slip in what I think are impressive things about me, the longer it takes to have sex, the more girls I miss out on, the more time I waste. So yeah, 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them in that order. And women love fucking talking. They love fucking talking 5 to 10 times more than men. And if you look at the hottest girls who no guy ever fucking listens to, they probably love talking 50 times more than men. Tess, do you want to carry on from my point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think women love, they do love talking about themselves, especially when they're talking about something that they love. And I think that that's true for everyone. You know, if you get them talking about something they're really passionate about, she's going to want to talk. You ask some good questions, she's like, yeah, let's talk about this thing. I love that thing. Right. So yeah, get her talking and listen. If you can be a good listener, you are going to stand out from above, 95% of guys if you can just listen and get her talking about something she loves. Absolutely.
Terrific. Okie dokie. So yeah, let's get some questions. We've left it a bit late for the guys. Let's really dig into some questions. We've got a few more amazing dating tips for you fellows tonight. But let's get into some of the questions first. Tess?
Yeah, question from Martin. A lady on YouTube says, why don't men approach anymore? She said women are filming and shaming guys on social media, saying they're creeps. Saying they're creeps? How bad would you have to be to get this to happen? Do you mean to get filmed and shamed on social media? That's pretty mean. Yeah, I mean, if you're being a creep and a woman feels the need to like shame you on social media, potentially you're being really creepy. But guys, this is like, if you're doing weird pickup artist stuff where it's so forced and it's really fake and it's just creepy and sleazy and not genuine, that's the kind of thing that would spur a woman on to want to film it, because she's like, who is this joker? Like, what is this act? It's just so forced. Like, what we teach you is really genuine. It's really authentic. It's about connecting with the woman. And that's not the kind of thing that a woman is going to film and shame you on. You know, like, she's got to be a really horrible, horrible person if you're trying to just be a real person and be kind and warm and get to know someone, you know.
But the other thing with that particular question, which is a good question, a true question, you'll be on social media, and depending on which links you click on, there'll be, if you click in this way, you'll see a bunch of guys being shamed in gyms by girls setting up cameras intentionally to shame guys. The reason they're doing it is to make content of guy shaming. But then I will bet you there's way, way, way more posts on Instagram right now of girls complaining, why don't guys talk to them anymore? That's like a huge thing. There's so much of that. It's not funny. It's like massive amounts of that. So yeah, I think the chances of you, unless you're going to a gym and approaching girls there and really perving at them beforehand and giving the girls some really good footage she can use, I think that's a very low chance of happening to you. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if some of those shaming a guy clips you see on social media are staged, where some guy who's an actor has intentionally gone and done something sleazy just to get all the all the engagement that they can get from that. So I've seen some of them that almost certainly look staged, because it's like the camera's there, it's pointing that way, and the guy comes straight into shot like it's a proper film shoot, and he knows exactly the right angle to pervert her from and exactly the right angle to walk up to get the best shot. That's how you can tell so much stuff on social media is a crock, because I've done some filmmaking. I think Martin's a filmmaker too, and I can see, oh my God, that's just not how it works in real life. It was very unlikely that happened naturally. But yeah, people watching stuff, they're not thinking, oh, okay, where was the camera when this shit happened? Whereas I tend to do it a little bit. Okie dokie. Next question, Tess.
Yeah, question from Landon. Is it better to ask questions or share about myself when the silence hits?
It's probably better to ask questions because that's much more guaranteed. Let's say you found out that Tess is a surfer, but then later on you ran out of things to say and you went to bathroom, and if you did your social coach tips, you pull out your phone and you give yourself a bit of an update so that you're a bit smoother when you get back, and you might come back and go, oh, so Tess, yeah, I surfed a bit when I was younger, and I've done it a couple of times, and I went to Bali. So yeah, tell me about the best wave you ever caught in your life, or tell me your favorite place to surf in the world. So you could share a bit about yourself as an entree to a good question. Because like if I wanted to get Tess to talk, like say I wanted to get Tess to talk extensively about paragliding, I'd go, oh, so Tess, yeah, I absolutely love that you've paraglided. I've skydived a few times, bungeed a whole bunch, and I've actually done hang gliding too over Rio de Janeiro. But I've never paraglided, which I believe is the most fun of all. So tell me more about your paragliding. So I could use a big chunk of sharing, probably a bit too much sharing about myself, in order to get Tess really enthusiastic to answer my question. Did you want to add anything to that, Tess?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I completely agree with you, James. And I think when the silence hits, probably best to go in with asking questions more than just sharing about yourself. If you just start rambling on about yourself to fill silence, that's not going to work well. You need to get her talking. So if you want to share about yourself, it's great to just do that in short snippets like what James demonstrated. And that's a really good thing to do, especially when it like relates to something that she's talked about. You're pointing out commonality between the two of you. But yeah, the open-ended questions around bonus information or some of the other examples that James gave, that's really what you want to stick to. Cool. All right, let's move on to another question. Here we go. Martin asks, what are the best follow-up questions to keep her engaged?
Great question. It's probably relative to the topic she's talking about. So this is where I think I said hint hunter, bonus information. You want to always have that spreadsheet present in your head. This is one of the things that really took me to a new level with my dating skills. I've been on dates, I've fucked up, I've made so many mistakes with women in the last sort of 5 or 10 years because I haven't been as promiscuous. So if I do get a girl I really like, which very rarely happens, I'm nowhere near as smooth as I used to be, nowhere near. But I just don't run out of things to say. That's not one of the things that happened to me. I say the wrong thing. I make the wrong call. Sometimes I'll miss a woman's test, but I just rarely run out of things to say. I think the fact that because I've got this spreadsheet thing that I've programmed in my head, and many of my clients have too, it'll be like if Tess is like, what did she say at the start? I think she said she was having dinner with a girlfriend, going for a surf, and doing yoga. So even from the very start of our YouTube live, I'm not thinking about Tess and trying to get her into bed. I'm trying to think about doing a job for you guys. I've still remembered my spreadsheet from the start. So then let's say we get all talked out about her surfing, I can go back to paragliding. Or even if we get all talked out about those two subjects, which is almost impossible, because then I can just go, oh, so tell me your favorite place you've paraglided. And then she can possibly talk about paragliding over the French Alps. Can you imagine how magnificent that would be? My female coaches aren't your average fucking dull, boring as batshit American Aussie girls. I can tell you that. Natalia was a pro volleyball player. Yeah, there's some really amazing female coaches my clients get to work with. Tess, how far did you fly over the French Alps? Like 30 kilometers or 50 kilometers?
No, in the French Alps, I didn't do any really long distance flights, but in Australia, my personal best is like 33 kilometers, which is that's like not amazing. That I'm a novice. Yeah, I know people who've flown like hundreds of kilometers, but 33 for me is huge.
Yeah, but you're a hot chick. You're not just doing your makeup and whatever, doing your Pilates. There's a bit more to you than the makeup and the Pilates, which is kind of rare in the Western countries. Anyway, I grew up with the Bogans, mate. Fucking Akadaka, cold chisel. Anyway, best follow-up question to keep her engaged. Yeah, it depends on the topic, but again, you want to have that backup. And if you are working with Tess, you'll have extensive backup with her. Yeah. We'll do 2 or 3 more questions and we'll get to another point.
Yeah, I think for this one, like just to keep it really simple, the feelings and emotions, open-ended questions. They're the best ones to keep her engaged. Okay, question from Anthony. How do I use the hint hunter technique when she gives me almost nothing to work with in her answers?
That's great. That's possibly the question of the night, Anthony. Thank you. Okay. Just go. Oh, not much. I've just been so busy at work. So Tess, what's the best thing you got planned for this weekend?
Nothing really. Yeah, just kind of been really busy with work.
I get it. I know exactly where you're coming from lately. I just broke my ribs, so I got broken ribs, and I'm completely. Anyway, I know exactly what you mean. I just broke my ribs as well, and I'm completely swamped at work. So when things aren't so busy, what's a nice relaxing weekend look like for you?
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm not super busy, I love to get outdoors in nature or, relaxing weekend. I like a bit of pampering, not going to lie, maybe a massage, a bath, just read a book or watch a movie or something.
Oh, I can give you a massage, then we can have a bath together. No, that's just a joke. That's what you don't do. That's what you don't do unless your name's Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah, that gives you an idea. You just got to make whatever you've got. She's really busy at work. Okay, where can I pivot from that? She probably wants to relax some point. So what's her favorite thing to do when she's relaxed? Or you could just ask us, so what do you do to sort of de-stress when you're massively busy at work or something like that? Great question, Anthony.
Yeah, really good.
And then what I'd do is I'd put all her bits about massage, bath, get out in nature. I'd put all them on my hint hunter technique spreadsheet in my head. I mean, if you are a complete beginner, you could go to the toilet and just create your own spreadsheet in the toilet, which sounds a bit gay. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you do what you got to do to get to next level. I'll tell you, I mean, this would be a really valuable tip for some of you guys. I got into sales quite young because typically financial advisors, the companies don't really actually start using them till they're like mid-30s, because what rich 56-year-old is going to give millions and millions of dollars to a 27-year-old to invest? And I started when I was 27. So I learned this tip where when you're going to see a client for the first time, you think of something that really makes you smile. And I used this on dates when I was starting out. You think of something that really makes you happy, and then you just put on a big fake smile, your best smile. And it's like, and then when you first walk out to meet the client, just because I'd walk into the corridor. Then when I got past a certain point, I could see the client sitting in the waiting room. And as soon as I walked out my office, I'd put my fake smile on, or my best real smile. And then, so when I first greeted the client, I'd have this big smile. But then what I'd do, I'm quite athletic, so I'd also jump up and I'd clip my heels together like you see in The Wizard of Oz or something. So I'm in this, expensive tailored suit and my Lloyd's shoes, and I'd jump up and click my feet together with my best sort of forced smile. And then the time the first client saw me, I went from stress to the fucking eyeballs, just keeping up, to actually I'm this sort of warm, happy, ready to listen and learn about them client. So yeah, you just got to use all these little techniques to succeed in the areas you want. So yeah, I mean, I must admit, I used that click my heels together when I started on dates. So yeah, just if she gives you nothing to work with, you've just got to get whatever she gives you and try to make the best of that. That's an excellent question.
Tess, really good question. Yeah. So obviously, if she's given you nothing, remember, if I say, oh, I'm not really sure yet, that's actually giving you something. So you've just got to work with that. And what that is exactly what James did. You've just got to take her away from the nothing. So that might be a hypothetical question, like what James did. Oh, so, when, what do you like to do on your weekends when you've got time to do something really fun? Or yeah, like James took it to the more like, oh, so what's a more relaxing, restorative weekend for you? So yeah, if you think she's giving you nothing, then you're wrong. She's given you something. You've just got to know how to use that. Yeah. Cool. Next question.
I'll do this, and then we'll do two of these, and we'll get back to the questions. Remind me to do a review before we get back to questions. Okie dokie, Escalate Touch. The best way to keep a girl engaged on a date and keep the conversation going is particularly on a date, is to use skillful touch and eye contact to escalate. So on our boot camps, I think I showed you some pictures earlier on, you spend a huge amount of time learning how to skillfully touch the female coaches. And in the post-Me Too era, obviously touching women is something that's very, very laced with danger. But that's why, I mean, we did this way before Me Too, so that we get you the best results and you're the smoothest. That's why you spend all this time just practicing delicately touching Tess on the shoulder, on the small of the back, maybe on the forearm, maybe on the knee. Once things start to go well, the inside of the thigh, the soft parts of the neck. Just leave your hand resting on her thigh. She's got a mini skirt. These are all like how to hug. These are all things that you practice with the female coaches. But what you do on dates is you'd be like, oh, cool. So you're a paraglider. Wow. This is me touching on the shoulder. Tell me more about paragliding. Well, I'm touching on the shoulder, and I'll keep my hand there for maybe another 3 seconds while she starts talking, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh my God, that sounds incredible. Tell me more about flying over the French Alps on a paraglider. And again, I'm touching her while I say this. So yeah, if you can use touch ever so carefully, I could give you 1,000,001 example. I could give you like 101 examples. One that jumps to mind is where there was a girl working at the yoga studio I go to, and she's what I call a tiny 10. She was like 5'2", 5'3", and I don't know, she was carved by Michelangelo. She had these gigantic green eyes that were green in the light and dark brown inside, reminding me of the love of my life. She had thick hair, she had big lips, she had this incredible, I think she was Indian, English, Dutch. This incredible, like, exotic Bollywood mix. She was stacked like nothing else, and she had this absolutely perfect little tiny Barbie doll body. She's like a tiny 10, and every guy was just gaga over her. It's like the hottest girl you'd see in Sydney, and I lived in Bondi Beach in a month, apart from the fact she was very short. And I was more than well spoken for in the sex department. Then I had 2 by girlfriends, and I've seen a couple of others as well, trying to bring some of them to my 2 by girlfriends. But yeah, I just held 100% eye contact when I was talking to her. And like, yeah, I mean, I remember one time I wore a suit for the first time to the yoga studio, and she literally left her her reception job and ran out the studio with me 15 minutes before closing time, when it was her job to actually close up. So she must have left the owner or one of the yoga teachers to close up the yoga studio, simply because she was so besotted with me, simply because I'm that one guy out of 200 who just asked really good open-ended questions, touched her, and held eye contact. And yeah, she was a very beautiful young lady. So yeah, escalating touch is one of the things that will fuel conversation better than ever. I've shared before how, you know, I was at the airport in 2003, just after September 11, and yeah, there's this hot, really hot woman, like in a Chanel tile business suit. She's essentially being felt up at the TSA, the American Customs Patrol at airports. She's literally being fondled and groped and sexually assaulted by this like 4'9", whatever, 210-pound Mexican woman with a moustache, like with a proper fucking moustache. And the girl looks like she's been felt up by, you know, Brad Pitt in Troy or something. She was having the time of her life, because just women are just so they love touch. They just love touch. Their entire bodies, you know, behind their arms and the back of their legs, the sole of their fucking feet, for some reason. They're just these erogenous zones. So yeah, Escalate. Did you want to talk about how when a guy is touching you, you get so much more invested in the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Skillful touch and confident touch is yeah, worth so much. I think obviously verbal communication is only one portion of communication. Non-verbal communication actually makes up a huge part of it. So, you know, yeah, eye contact, body language, touch, all of these things. If you're doing that stuff skillfully, it's going to make her want to talk to you, and it's probably going to make the conversation a lot easier, because if she already likes you based on all of the non-verbal communication, she's probably going to make it easy for you with conversation. She might fill the silences. She might be asking you questions, or just giving you a lot to work with and making it very easy for you in conversation if you're doing the touch really skillfully. So yeah, can't highlight to you how much skillful touch is will add to this as well. Obviously, this is something that's really hard to go at alone. If you guys are trying to touch women and you do not have the experience and have not had the feedback from people who know how to give you that feedback, it's really hard. And yeah, so guys, this is something I would say to proceed with caution if you haven't had training. You know, it's on one hand, if you're really into partner dancing or yoga, or you've done a massage course and you've got that sensitivity to touch and you've had feedback around those sorts of things, then yes, that could be a strength of yours. But for a lot of guys who are, you know, the types of guys we work with, a lot of guys are, you know, engineers or accountants or lawyers, or just guys who are like working behind a desk most of the time and not doing a lot of touch, then this is something that I would not necessarily recommend just trying to do a lot of on your own accord when you have no idea what you're doing. It's you do really need the feedback, which is why it is so important to be practicing in a safe place. You know, like our boot camps where we help guys, we just absolutely nail this into them, the sensitivity of touch and how appropriate it is to to escalate as well. It's micro escalation. It's not just taking huge leaps of faith and just trying to make that work.
Grab them by the pussy.
So yeah,
like the president, just grab them by the pussy.
So skillful touch, skillful escalation, micro escalation in touching is really, really important. And yeah, it's amazing for a woman to receive that when it's done correctly, but it is horrible to receive it when it is done incorrectly. So this is really important, guys. You need to get it right.
Absolutely. Okay, escalate touch. And the greatest dating tip of all time is ask open-ended questions, not closed-ended questions or statements. We've talked about this a lot. What's an open-ended question? Let's start with what's not an open-ended question. So, Tess, tell me about the best thing you got. Tell me anything good planned for this weekend. Closed-ended, she can just go, no away, no, go away, big-nosed old man, fuck off. Whereas if I go, so Tess, tell me, what are you most looking forward to doing this weekend? Or tell me about the best thing you got planned for this weekend with lots of enthusiasms, potentially touching on a shoulder. Completely different thing. So one of the first things Tess will do in the first few weeks she's working with you, and you guys think this is easy, is just try to rephrase every, the 80 or 90% of questions that the average guy asks that are closed-ended questions or statements or crappy closed open-ended questions. She tries to turn them all into these beautiful feelings and emotion, big motherfucker open-ended questions. That really is the GOAT dating tip. I'm hoping I'll get my business far enough ahead and hire a few people, and I'll lock myself in a room for 2 or 3 months, maybe just do some YouTube lives, a bit of YouTube videos, and just write the definitive book on how to get better with women. And I think this will have to be chapter 1, because most men cannot quickly and easily connect with a woman. And if you can ask good open-ended questions, it's not all your Christmases have come at once and your problem's solved, but it's like, that's one of the biggest things. That's why the dates that Tess does on Zoom. That's why, I mean, there might be a guy here tonight, I don't know if he's here, but he often comments in the replay for us. He's literally went from, he had a bunch of bad luck. He literally went from homeless, sleeping, I can't remember, he's sleeping some deserted house in America somewhere, to literally dating agency models. And he sent pictures through. He sent me a video testimonial. I haven't got around to editing yet. So that's the GOAT dating tip, asking big motherfucker open-ended questions. Okie dokie. Actually, Tess, do you want to do the review? Because you're somewhat more fuckable than me in the eye. Okay. Everyone who'd rather fuck Tess, if you could just put Tess. Everyone who'd rather fuck James, just put James. And I just want to see if I get a vote.
I won't be offended, guys. It's okay.
Sorry?
I said I won't be offended if you choose James. It's okay.
you might be in the wrong place, just quietly.
You've got some fans here, James. Okay, so let's just.
I got a hairy asshole. It's probably not that pleasant, boys.
Okay.
I like a bit of tongue down there too, just quietly. No, that's a joke. I think that's gross, that shit. Sorry, Tess. As I said, if you want to get better at reading body language, watch Tess's face with some of the stuff that comes out my mouth. As soon as I say something somewhat off color, she's like.
Oh, James. All right. Well. What am I supposed to do? I've got to work on my poker face or just excuse myself occasionally when I need to. Okay. So you're making me blush.
Those will be going through watching in slow motion with you going. Anyway.
Okay.
I think I made you go a little bit red then.
You did. I'm definitely blushing. That's okay. Let's just power on. So let's go through the points tonight. Number 1 was the hint hunter technique. This is about listening, guys. This is the most important thing. you need to be able to listen and pick up on the little hints she's giving you for what she wants to talk about. Number 2 is feelings and emotions questions. So these get the woman invested. You get heaps of bonus information out of these, and yeah, it gets her to open up to you. This is how women think and how we communicate. So it's tapping into that. Number 3 is a proven structure to follow or you're lost. And yeah, guys, this is just exactly what we teach. It's the method. It's you having something to fall back on and giving you power and control and security in the situation. Number 4 is have backup. Okay, this is about having a strategy and potentially keeping notes in your phone so you can refer back to those, take breaks when you need to, have something to look at when you get really, really stuck and you need to take a break and reset. Okay, number 5 is no teasing, cold reads, banter, or pickup artist bullshit. Okay, so this is just really fake, inauthentic. Women can, yeah, it's just so cringe. And we pick up on lines straight away. We're like, okay, this guy's, I don't know, yeah, he's putting on some sort of act. It just doesn't land well. Sometimes you think, oh, she's actually talking to me. Most of the time that's because she's just finding it entertaining, or but she's not taking you seriously. So avoid this stuff. Number 6, 2 ears, 1 mouth rule. This is listening, guys. Use those ears, engage with the woman, and keep your mouth shut. Get her talking. She should be doing 75% of the talking. And number 7 is escalate with touch, with skillful touch. This is micro escalation with skillful touch, which will make the conversation so much easier because she's going to really like you. She'll make it easy for you. And number 8 is the greatest of all time dating tip, which is open-ended questions. Okay, after listening, I'd say this is the number. yeah. I mean, listening and open-ended questions are the foundation for good conversation. Yeah, you've got to get more bonus information. You've got to keep, expanding on things. Don't get to a dead end where it gets silent and awkward and weird. So yeah, open-ended questions is the way to go.
Tess thinks the number 1 thing is female psychology. I think the number 1 thing is just asking good questions, assuming you're not dressed like a complete tosser, which is most Western men. But yeah, the thing is, I'm right at the sort of basic level in terms of what actual practical skill guys need. Tess is right at a slightly more macro level, whereby the guys can have the component skills of touch, eye contact, body language, open-ended questions, date planning. But then if they don't understand female psychology, which is a big part of what Tess does on Zoom, they've got all these skills, but they've got the jigsaw pieces, but they need female psychology to sort of piece them together. So in a way, Tess is more right than me. I'm right practically. Tess is right in terms of the holistic picture. So that was actually the most impressive thing, content, intellectual property wise, she's done for Social Coach. So very grateful for that. Okay, so any questions on that stuff? We're here for you, and don't leave them all till the 2-hour 50 mark, and then you'll pummel us with these amazing questions. Tess, where are we up to in the questions we've got today? Oh, a couple of thank yous. For the guys who have been supporting us with questions, there's been a few. Martin, definitely. Landon, Ivan, JD Hundy. There's been a few others. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone out. I think Stevie. There's been a couple more. And especially when the video goes live. Yeah, I think we're probably close to 5,200 and 2,000 hours of watch time for our last YouTube live before last, and the last one is getting close to 3,000 now. That's really thanks to your comments. So yeah, when you see that video live, if you could like it, just say, got a ton out of this. That was awesome. You're doing us a huge favor, and we're doing you a huge favor, because guys were paying like tens of thousands of dollars to get this stuff before COVID, and we're giving away a good part of it for free every Sunday on YouTube that you can watch the replay. So thank you so much for Anthony as well. He's been great with comments. He's had some great ones. I think that guy's ex-finance. So yeah, so Martin's a filmmaker, Landon's an accountant. Has been some good guys. I think Stevie used to do mortgages or something. So yeah, it's had some great guys really supporting us there. Thank you so much. So yeah, the other things you can do, obviously, like, subscribe, ring the bell. That really helps us. If you share it, please share it. And if you can save it, for some reason, YouTube loves that. So share it with your cat, share it with your dog, share it with your mouse, share it with your hamster and your kangaroo and your piano teacher and your jiu-jitsu teacher and your chef. Whoever the hell you can share, hairdresser, just share the thing, because YouTube, it bars up when it sees shares. It goes, oh, people are sharing it. It must be good. We'll serve it out to more people. And then the biggest thing we're going to do for our YouTube audience is when we cut these YouTube lives, plus hundreds of hours of footage of our fairly expensive boot camps for the average guy, when we cut this up and put it on YouTube, you guys are going to get 10 times more results out of watching us, and probably more time efficiently. What was the other thing? The other thing is, the more people I'm getting to my YouTube lives, the closer I am of creating a global community supported by Tess and I, where you might never pay us a cent, or you might pay us $10 a month or something to be part of the community. And you'll be able to find a wing in your hometown. And that was one of the best things we did for guys, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, to a lesser extent, New York, LA, pre-COVID. So yeah, please help us out. Let's get back to questions, Tess.
Yeah. Another question from Anthony here. What should I do if I miss her hints completely and the conversation still goes silent?
Like, seriously, I've been in this situation because I was worse with dating than anyone. If you're on a date, that's literally when I'd say, okay, if it looks like it's terrible and she's just trying to find an excuse to go, and you say, I need to go to the bathroom, she might say, oh, I got to go soon, so to get out of it before you go to the bathroom. So you got to use a bit of social intelligence there. But if she liked you and then you have a flat spot, you might just go, oh, I'm just going to the bathroom, we're back in 2 minutes. And then just go study your phone and just use the homework you did before the date to make the date work really well. That's my huge tip for you. If you miss her hints, you might want to specify whether it's conversation hints or whether it's hints to escalate, because that's a slightly different answer. If you don't go to the bathroom, you might not need to go to the bathroom. Just if you look back at the start of the video, we had the concept of the bonus information spreadsheet, the hint hunter. Then what you just got to do is you just got to think, like what Tess said at the start, I think, was out to dinner with friends, yoga, and surfing. So let's say I'd already gone down the surfing path. Then I'd go down the paraglide. Sorry, the yoga path. Oh, so I think you said earlier. I think you said at the start, Tess, that you did yoga. I've done a bit of yoga. Tell me about your favorite yoga, or tell me what you get out of yoga, or tell me how important is yoga in your life, or something like that. Tell me what's so important about yoga in your life, or tell me what you love about your weekend yoga. You just want to somehow get her talking.
Yeah, I think yeah, guys, like obviously you want to be a good listener and have that spreadsheet going. If you're like, she said 3 things and I only picked up on 2 of them, and you've kind of explored those things and you can't think of anything else to ask, I don't know, it's pretty natural. You could probably just say, you mentioned there was another thing you mentioned, earlier tonight. You said you were looking forward to doing, but what was that? And just get some clarification. That's probably okay to do in like a trying to save it sort of scenario. it's fine if you don't, like, if you've picked up on 2 out of 3 things, that's still a lot better than most guys. So to just ask her what the third thing was is probably okay, but you don't want to just have to be constantly asking her, what did you say before? What did you say before? Like, that's not great. You do need to be a good listener. Obviously, what James has said, having a good, having some notes that you can study and refer to is going to be a fail-safe thing as well. Also, some of the questions that James gave you earlier, like kind of hypothetical questions, which aren't really reliant on any bonus information. You can kind of start from a blank slate there, and it brings energy and imagination to it as well, to give you more bonus information. That can be a good fallback as well if you've got some go-to kind of hypothetical questions too.
Who's been the biggest influence on your life, or what advice would you give yourself when you're 18 or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
The whole goal of this is just to find out as much about the girl as possible, specifically the things that you guys have in common. So with me, at my stage in life, with I'm probably extremely confident relative to the average guy. The number of times that I'm forced to go to bars, because it's how I serve my students. We take them to upmarket bars, and they get to approach the after work crowds in Sydney City bars. Hopefully soon New York and LA and Austin and whatever else, Miami, Sydney bars, city bars. Yeah, but I just can't be bothered talking to some fucking idiot in a bar about the shit fucking idiots talk about in bars. So I walk up to girls and go, hey, how you doing? I'm James. And there's been a bunch of times I go, so crazy random question for a bar, but tell me about the last great book you read. And quite a lot of my interactions don't last 2 minutes, but I don't care. So with some really attractive girls, that don't last 2 minutes. But every now and then I get a girl who reads books, and I'm like, oh, hell, you are a girl worth talking to in a bar. So tell me more about that book. And I've taken quite a few of those young ladies home and had my way with them. Even though I walked up to them in a bar, I didn't even walk up to them. I just jumped in front of them and said, hey, how you doing? I'm James. Who are you? Tell me the last great book you read. And some of them looked at me like I was a pedophile or something. But a small percentage said, oh, I just read Shantaram, or I just read Madame Bovary or Pride and Prejudice. I went, you're going to be my next lay, honey. I didn't quite say that, but that thought went through my mind when that happened. Anyway. Next question.
Question from history. In what ways do you use and modify your conversation model to also build platonic friendships with men? It seems to be the optimal foundation for general communication / social skills.
Woohoo! Question of the night, history jerk. He needs a prize. That is unfucking real. I was watching some conversation specialist who was on Diary of a CEO, my favorite podcast, and I was watching a little piece of his content. And to be clear, this guy's got one boatload more YouTube followers than me and makes a lot more money than me. And his advice isn't bad, but it was just very complicated, and it was very try-hardy. It was really, it didn't seem completely natural to me. It was way better than PUAs. So the conversation method I use on guys all the time. And there's really not that much you need to change, other than the eye contact's lower, and I'm not touching too many guys on the small of the back. I'm certainly not holding their hand. Certainly not grabbing them by the pussy, Trump style. But it's exactly the same thing. So I just went to a business networking event, and without being big-headed, I really don't know anyone who networked as well as me out of hundreds of people. And I within a week, I'd met everyone worth meeting there. And some of the people I'd met introduced me to people worth meeting. It was exactly what I do in my boot camps. It was exactly what I do in my boot camps. Like, hey, how are you enjoying the business mastermind? Tell me what's been your favorite thing about it. Tell me about the best session you've been to. and just those sorts of questions. And then a lot of the people, I just wasn't interested in them. I approach a girl in the bar. What do you got planned for the weekend? I'm going shopping for vintage Italian shoes. And I'm going to do some makeup classes. I'm like, great, suck some other guy's dick. But then I'll meet girls who read books, or you do paragliding, or who are well-traveled or something. So it's the same with business networking. I met people where we didn't really have much in common, and we sort of just nodded when we saw each other. And I saw people who, there'd be one or two cases where some of these people, might still be friends of mine in 10 years. Some people I might end up working with. So yeah, it's exactly the thing that Tess teaches you on YouTube, and Natalia teaches not on YouTube, on Zoom. Natalia and all my other coaches teach you on Zoom and on boot camps. It's exactly the same thing for meeting guys, which leads me to, I'm going to make up my own question off the basis of History Jerk's question. Many guys in their 50s come to us and say, they go, I want you to get me a great girlfriend. And then we go, okay, how many friends do you have? Well, I got 2, but they're both married. Do you have any other friends? No, not really. There's some people I talk to at work. I'm like, well, dude, if you can't get a male friend, it's going to be a bit of a stretch. If you haven't made a new male friend in 5 or 10 years, it's a bit of a stretch to think some hot, young, pretty girls want to suck your dick, no matter how good we might be. So for a lot of guys, if in your 40s or 50s or 60s, the first step for you, for some guys who are, maybe a basic level, is to actually use the skills Tess gives you to actually meet some more male friends. Because it's very hard to go from looking at your computer, watching YouTube, watching Netflix and Prime Video, jerking off to whatever fucking porn you watch, or whatever you porn, or whatever they call the shit, to actually going out and being charismatic and attractive to girls. But if you I had a killer boot camp, the last one, but it was because I came from the boot camp from a business conference straight to a boot camp. So I was like on fire, dude. Pretty much every hot girl I saw this weekend, I shouldn't say that's a lie, but nearly every hot girl I actually saw this weekend, I talked to many of them, and there's quite a few of them I'd have had a chance with if I wanted to. Brilliant question. Our conversation model is exactly what you need to build platonic friendships, or commercial friendships, or business relationships, to some extent do high-level selling, high-level networking. They are the foundation. I think I'm getting carried away with this question because it's such a good question. Thank you, History Jerk, or whatever it is. Because you can go to some guy who's a business networking expert, or a conversation or a communication expert, and they're giving you all these theories that have pieced together from books. I'm giving you the most battle-tested shit in the history of the world, because I've been teaching some 5'5" dorky computer programmer with fucking autism who's on the spectrum to walk up to some Tess when she's 23 in a bar, in a nightclub, in a short skirt. That's where these conversation skills are coming from. Short of, I don't know, you're some crazy high-level Mossad secret agent, this is the highest level of testing for conversation skills. You can see I'm getting really on my fucking soapbox here. You want to make money, fucking do social coach. I've had the guys who fucking interned, they're like 19 and 20 and 21. They interned on my boot camps, and I was like 37, 38. They're all worth 8, 9, and 10 and 12 fucking million now. They're barely 30. Just because I gave them these cutting-edge social skills that they used at university, used in their working career. Now they're all fucking rich. Little dirty pricks. They should give me some money. I got wiped out by COVID, and they're all stinking rich. Anyway, and Tess, do you want to comment on that, please?
Yeah, guys. I think obviously maybe the feelings and emotions questions. We wouldn't have to push as hard, but definitely open-ended questions. But remember, like, feelings and emotions questions don't have to be like, how does it feel when you're blah, blah, blah. They can also just be really simple, casual questions like, oh, what was that like? Or, things like that. So yeah, but open-ended questions are key. Obviously, listening, absolutely key to any sort of rapport building conversation with anyone. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is really, really applicable to, yeah, exactly what James says. Yeah, building any sort of relationships, work colleagues, friends, networking in general. Yeah, it's all really applicable. Yeah, great question.
It could even with a guy, it could be, oh, so what did you love about YouTube Live, or what do you love about French chicks or Russian girls, or what do you love about basketball, or what do you love about being a hedge fund manager or something? So much of our curriculum, you just transport it straight onto guys without touching them on the small of the back and shit. You touch them on the shoulder. Like I touch guys a lot, and it helps me build friendships really quickly. It's just a skill that I've acquired for myself. I mean, again, this is the most powerful skill set of all. I mean, what did you open with, Tess? That was a really interesting factoid we found. I think Harvard found that 80% of business success or something, you need to look at what Tess said at the start. It requires small talk skills. If you don't have this shit, you're fucked. Okay, you could be some killer great program who gets hired by Google and gets put in a room and gets shares and, you know, becomes pretty rich, but you're really not going to amount to much more than that. So, I mean, you might say Mark Zuckerberg's a cyborg or something. He is on camera, but I know people who work for Facebook. I mean, they fucking worship that guy. He's an incredibly impressive internal CEO because his staff worship the ground he walks on. So he's got some very high level communication skills internally. He might not exactly be Steve Jobs on a camera, but he's done pretty well for himself. Anyway, next question. Thanks, History Jerk. That's a ripper.
Another good one from Ivan. James, I'm thinking about doing the boot camp. What would you say are the 3 or 4 number one factors behind your most successful students? It's a great question.
Let me thinking there. I've actually studied that over the years. The number one, this shocked the hell out of me, which is why I'm so big on starting a community. Anyone in the replay, anyone watching live, this is one of the most important parts of the last 5 YouTube lives. There's a bunch of tech platforms these days where Tess and I can easily start a community. We'll put some absolutely lethal course in there, something we'd usually charge a lot of money for, and just give it away for, I don't know, $5 a month or something. Or I don't know what we'd charge. Depends how much stuff we gave you. But it would be a community, and I think we got 5,200 views a few weeks ago, and we're getting thousands of views a week at the moment. We're getting huge numbers of views and hours, people watching a week. So there's all you guys out in New York and LA and Florida and Perth, Sydney, London, all over Western Europe who are trying to do this. But if we could introduce you to a guy like you, that is going to be the best thing we can ever do for you. Because I was getting crazy results on my boot camps. Well, I thought they were crazy. And then when we really grew our student community, where we could introduce, you know, the 40-year-old engineers who love like whatever, jiu-jitsu and cross-country mountain bike riding, we could start to introduce guys who could legitimately become their friends who are trained in our methods. That's where we got the most crazy results ever. I don't want to say too much in case he watches, but there was a very dorky guy who didn't have much energy, and he was sort of balding, and he did the comb over, and he was hunched over. He was a smart dude, but you know, he made decent money, but not great. But he became very close friends with the 2 most successful students in a particular state. One of them was fucking insane. He was like 5'5", bald, weird, probably on the spectrum. But he just became an absolute weapon with women. And these guys became sort of 3 best friends. And the other guy was tall, handsome, pretty confident. And this third guy, he just became sort of their 3rd friend. And this guy had like 3 or 4 girls on the go for like 15 years permanently. And he sends me pictures of these girls. I'm like, how the fuck are you getting these women? And it just baffled me in terms of relative success with women compared to his appearance. And he had no energy as well. He didn't really have that much personality either. But yeah, he was just surrounded by guys who he really liked, who were doing really well, and he just got caught up in their slipstream, I think is the term in car racing or bike riding. So number one is definitely having wings who are trained in our method, which is why part of the boot camp is a networking exercise. Again, if you would like Tess and I to start a community, just write in capital letters, start a community when the video becomes live. That would be a huge favor. If our regulars could remember to do that. As soon as we finish, YouTube will have the video live in like 15 minutes or something. So that would be number one. Number two is probably going to be conversation skills. That's how well you learn the structure that Tess's teach you. Because when you've got that in the bag, yeah, it just makes everything so much easier. A good example is my head approach coach, who was wonderful. I think he'd done 4 boot camps or something. Because every time we had a free spot in a boot camp, we gave it to him because we were training him to make him better. And on his 4th boot camp, he was still pretty crappy at the escalation drills in the end of the boot camp. And once he'd already been an approach coach on like 50 boot camps or something, I got him to take over the escalation drills, which I usually supervise. And I'm like, dude, you're doing it wrong. The guy's done 5 boot camps as a student, 50 as a lead instructor. And even on his 50th, he still hadn't nailed the escalation drills properly. That's what you do on a date once you got the girl on the date. But yeah, I mean, he had crazy results with women and all these guys worshipped him. So yeah, your wings, your conversation skills. Tess, what do you think is the most successful thing amongst our students after that?
Yeah, definitely just like general attitude, like being an action taker, being really open and having a positive attitude. Like, you know, there are some guys who find excuses not to take action and just get stuck in their head, etc. It's just like it comes down to like a bit of approach anxiety stuff and patterns that they need to break, but still. The guys who just say, yeah, whatever, I'm going to be unattached to the outcome. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to take action. I'm going to take everything on board and just have fun and make it like a really fun learning experience. Those guys always just, they do really, really well. So attitude, openness, action, being an action taker, definitely.
Yeah, attitude. I mean, a friend of mine is always sort of debating everything I tell him. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for fucking 20 years. I'm not wrong. I mean, I could be wrong about 0.5% of it as it relates to you. I'm just not wrong because I know the guy quite well. So the guys, and I know a lot of people in the self-help, dating, health, a whole bunch of these people are scammers and frauds and people have been burnt badly. I've had this with business coaches and marketing coaches. But yeah, hopefully from what you see on YouTube Lives, and certainly once you start working with Tess, you'll see very quickly we're fucking experts at this. Just run with what we do. Test it out before you start arguing with us, because often if you test it out, you won't be arguing with us. I mean, the guy Vichor, who's probably become one of my more favorite clients the last few years, he's just constantly astounded how easy this is for him. So number one is the wings, the community. Number 2 is open-ended questions. Number 3 is just attitude and actually taking action. There's so many number 4s. I think number 4 would be what Tess says, a preparedness to actually start to try to understand women, which we're going to give you all the information to do, to start to think, okay, women are bitches, women are toxic, women do this stuff I don't like, but then they're very different from us because they generally want the best men, whereas we want the most women. When they get pregnant, it's a 9-month, last 3 months, they're fucking disabled and they've let their, whatever you call it, they've gone from like a 9.5 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10 in one go when they have their first kid. As me friends in Perth used to say, man, what do you want to fuck her for? She's 1 for already, mate. 1 for is cricket, so there's 1 wicket down. So Tess probably did the on that one. That's what we're here for. We're not here to be pretty objects for you. We're here to keep the human race going. Anyway, I didn't see Tess' lips curl up then. So yeah, to understand the actual female psychology behind it. But yeah, the number one, I should start again. The number one thing is the guys who take what Tess gives them and they just run with it. And they don't think about it. That's why, you know, can you say the C word on YouTube? I don't think so. You'll get severely penalized. The dumb C, the dumb bleeps. It's those dumb bleeps who just, they don't think about this shit. They're not analyzing everything that comes into their head. There's, okay, Tess told me to ask open-ended questions and touch them on the shoulder. I'm going to do what Tess says. They just go out and do it, and they get these crazy results. All these 145 IQ guys who are trying to analyze everything we tell you, they're still fucking jerking off to you porn weeks later. So yeah, so the guys who just take what we give them and run with it would probably be number one. The wings, just the attitude, which sort of mix in with my number one. And what else did I say? And the female psychology overview. The guys who take care of the style, the conversation skills, the guys who get the date plans sorted out very quickly, all the first few things you do when we start working with Tess. Because like getting the style sorted out for nearly every Australian American, even the ones who think they dress well, or getting you might be dressed very well, but you're probably making some small mistakes. Like I'd never wear this when I'm going out on a date with a girl. It's just so geeky and shit and weird, but I can't be bothered changing for a YouTube live. There's just a bunch of things that we can easily fix up that you guys don't know. So anyway, let me do that again. Just implementing what we give you. The guys who get the most wings through our community or through their own friendship group. What to say was number three, obviously conversation. And number four is just get the basics right. The style, the date plan, do the sex training we give you, because if you're not sexually frigid, that's going to give you a huge advantage over everyone else. Because the majority of you, the reason you run out of things to say, the reason you have your approach anxiety, at the end of the day, for many of you, is because you know if you're actually achieving your goal of approaching the woman, which is sleeping with her, you know the first few times you do it, you're probably not going to be that great, particularly if it's a new girl and you've never been with her before and you don't know which angles she likes or all this stuff about her. Because, you know, certainly from 33 to early 50s, I was pretty fucking lethal in bed. Certainly late 40s. But yeah, every girl's new, and you got to learn some new tricks every time you're with a new girl. So unless you're crazy confident in bed already, you're probably not doing much of a job the first time. Anyway, it's a great question, Ivan. So hopefully that gives you some perspective. Love that question. Thank you. Wings, attitude, and just get the basics right.
Okay. History is asking, can you please talk more about the situation when she only gives you a few words answer without bonus information? You barely talk about how men should talk, even if it's just 20% of the conversation.
That's excellent. Okay, this is where most of you have to radically improve your conversation and your questions and listening. So I try to make the majority of what I say big motherfucker feelings and emotion open-ended questions. Whereas most of you guys ask really straightforward facts and data, closed-ended questions and statements. And there's many dating coaches, when you watch some of their infield video and stuff, they're teaching you this too. So if I'll just do a quick demonstration for you. Hey, how you doing? I'm James. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Tess.
Tess. Nice to meet you, Tess. So Tess, tell me, it's coming into the colder months in Sydney So tell me, what do you most like to do on the weekends in the winter in Sydney?
That really depends on my mood.
Give me some examples. If you're in a good mood, what does an ideal Sydney winter weekend look like for you?
Yeah, I guess that's like getting out and about and being social, meeting up with my friends and just getting out.
What's again? Take me through your ideal weekend when you're in a good mood in winter in Sydney. What would that look like for you? You've got your friends, you're getting out. Give me an example of what you're going to go do with your friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, we like to go for walks in nature, but yeah, I mean, also I love food. I'm a bit of a foodie, so cafes, restaurants, and yeah, yeah, just spending quality time, really.
Cool. I'm a hardcore nature lover. If I don't get out into proper nature, away from most humans and most human leaf blowers and cars and cities every once in a while, it's not good for me. So, tell me, tell me about your three favorite walks in nature in Sydney.
Yeah, I mean, I love coastal walks. The Bondi to Coogee walk is beautiful, although it gets really crowded. There are some longer, sort of like multi-day ones in the Royal National Park, which are really beautiful as well, and definitely not as many people. Or yeah, I don't know. I mean, near my local neighborhood, there's like a lake that I like to walk around as well. That yeah, I've done that a few times with friends just because it's easy and yeah, and really pretty and just a good opportunity to like catch up while we're also being a bit active.
Fantastic. I'm not going to at this stage ask where she lives because she's still being a bit resistant. So I'm going to go, oh, the Royal National Park. That's one of Sydney's undiscovered treasures. Tell me about walking at the Royal National Park.
Yeah,
You get the
yeah,
point. Until I got walking in nature, it wasn't going very well. But I just stayed relaxed. I didn't let on that I knew that she wasn't really invested in me. I listened extremely well. The structure I've got, plus the listening, plus obviously experience. So yeah, hopefully if you guys watch that again, I left pauses. I could have probably left bigger pauses, but I'm on YouTube. I'm conscious I didn't want guys switching off when they got bored. But that is probably quite a realistic illustration of what it is talking to a hot girl who's not being crazy unfriendly when you meet her out. She probably doesn't give you that much to begin with. She makes you earn it. Even if she was checking you out and she's like, oh, that guy's cute. I hope he comes talk to me. They'll really pull back at the start. That's another woman's test. That's another piece of woman's psychology. They just want to see how confident you are by holding back at the bit at the start to see how well you can handle yourself. Again, back to Charles Darwin. If you handle yourself well when she pulls back, that's a good sign you've dated attractive women before. You know how to ride through the first 3, 4, 5 minutes where they don't give you much, because most hot girls do that. Some hot girls will throw themselves at you, then they'll just pull back straight away. Tess, do you want to add anything to that?
yeah, absolutely. So like some of the specific things that James did as well to kind of get me to give him more when I didn't in the beginning were just yeah, good open-ended questions, but he had really good energy as well. He was like, oh cool. You know, he never let it phase him that I was being a little bit closed or yeah, not opening up straight away. He was kind of just kept persisting, really good energy, and he was like rewarding as well. It's like, oh, cool, you know, he was showing that he was actually interested in whatever small thing I was giving him to talk about. So that just helps encourage me to open up a little bit more as well. And it is, you know, when someone's projecting just genuine, warm, positive energy towards you, it's really hard for us to like reject that, and because it makes us feel like a bitch if we're not at least giving something, you know, a little bit of that back as well. So yeah, the good questions, persisting, good energy, you know, rewarding, all of that stuff can help. There are definitely some other techniques as well that it's way too advanced to go into here, but when you work with me and we start to get to this more advanced level stuff with the more challenging approaches, we go through all the different techniques as well. So yeah, there are plenty of options if she's not giving you much.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a rough day for reasons I won't go into. But mate, I was channeling me in as Steve Irwin. The pretty girlie was being a bit holding back, being a bit rough, putting me through me paces. So he channeled me in as Steve and made it as fucking chasing crocodiles and in the great outdoors, the wilderness. So yeah, Steve's my biggest, apart from my biggest influences as a dating coach would be number 1, Charles Darwin, number 2, Dale Carnegie. Oh, Steve Irwin might be number 3, mate. Might be number 3. He's probably ahead of fucking Tony Robbins. Steve Irwin, yeah, he's a fucking Aussie legend, that guy. He's the crocodile hunter for anyone who doesn't know. So if anyone, I think we've done 2 sort of demonstrations tonight. If anyone finds these demonstrations useful, just put demonstrations in caps, especially into the video when it goes live. I'll use the numbers on that. Just 20 minutes after this goes live, you just click this same link and you'll see it. The other thing we're going to do, so demonstration, also write community. If you want us to start a community, and you can do these really cheaply now, there's the tech's basically all done for me, which wasn't the case 6 or 7 years ago. I just start a community. We collect guys. If there's anyone's a bit awkward, we might make a rule that everyone who does the community has to do a date with Tess, or if Tess is too busy, maybe Natalia or someone, one of my star coaches before, so that everyone in the community's a bit screened and they're at some sort of a reasonable level. If you go out with them, they're not going to be a complete dick. Yeah, so demonstrations and community, just put that in the live video. And if we get a lot of votes, that's something we'll definitely move towards. Because it's quite easy. I've also got some infield that I'm a bit, I don't know about giving that out, because that's like giving out pure solid gold. Because unlike nearly any infield I've seen on YouTube, it's got a very learnable structure behind it. It's not just, talk shit and banter with her. Or free associate, some of the coaches say. I don't even know what that means. Okay, next question, Tess.
Yeah, let us know about that, guys, because we've definitely had some people in the past say that they love the demonstration stuff. So let us know. A question, a comment from MJ Hundy. Send the armpit girl my way, James. Love a bit of Sasquatch. Good for you.
I wish I'd known that, man. This girl was good. She had this body was like never, of all the female coaches I've had, this she was better than Nevena, because she was taller. She was like 5'10", and she was big. And she wasn't Russian, but she had the Soviet really firm tissue that just sits upright, and that they weren't fake. The hairy legs, I could have handled that. They weren't that bad. But mate, when she put those arms back and those tits stayed up, I'm like, wow. But then the fucking hairs popped out. I should have just flicked him MJ Hundy's way. Yeah, I got a bit damaged for life with the one I did a few years back, where she was lying there like that, just showing off these fucking melons, but then she was showing off those pits as well. It's just, yeah, it's really scarred me. I'm pretty confident I will I'll make it into the next lifetime without doing the hairy armpits again. I just can't. I love hippie girls. They're so good. They're so free. They're so good in bed. We've got so much in common. They don't use deodorant and perfumes, and they often cook well. But yeah, they just can't do those hairy armpit shit. They can dress full ashram and all that shit, but just no hairy armpits. I'm sorry. Anyway, move on. I'll flick him Hundy's way. Which city, which country are you in, Hundy? I'll go, listen, you're pretty cute, young lady, but I just can't do those hairy armpits anymore. If you want to give me Razor a bit of a run, I'll fucking do you in a flash, but not with those pits. It's too hard on the little fella the big fella between me legs. He just doesn't like to play with hairy armpits.
Okay, well,
You can always do the armpit fuck if they've got hairy armpits. If she got sweaty enough, I wonder if you could ever confuse yourself. Maybe in a really hot, humid Lombok or Mumbai, India day, somewhere it's really humid, like 80% humidity, where it's about 38 degrees of humidity. I wonder if she'd get juicy enough under there. You could ever fool yourself it was what was between her legs. I don't think so, because it's very different sort of juices. Tess, do you have any opinions about this subject? Look at her eyes.
I don't know if hair equates to like the amount of sweat, but also, everyone's into their own thing. There's a person out there for everyone. Yeah, MJ Hyundai, love that you're into that. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, James. You obviously feel very strongly about this, but I don't think there are a lot of guys who might not feel as strongly.
Yeah, I don't think too many would be turning this girl down just a bit of armpit hair. But yeah, I'd had my bad experience. I was going to say, I was trying to make a funny reference to sex with a girl's armpits, which probably wasn't as funny to you as it was to me. Certainly not Tess, probably not the wider YouTube audience, but I got to keep myself amused on these. I've never tried the armpit solution. I'm not even that big on tit fucking, let alone armpit fucking. As Jim Jeffries, the Aussie comedian, says, the C word rhyming with bunt. That's the purpose-built place for the cock. You can go backdoor every now and then, and some of you might like a bit of mouth action. I'm definitely a between the legs man myself. 98.5% of my is always in the proper place for the penis. Back door can get a bit messy, and yeah, that can be a bit of a boner killer. And you got to keep changing condoms before you go back in the front door. So yeah, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to sex. I just like the one that God designed us to use. So yeah, but blowjobs are a bit of a funny adaptation as modern men have come to enjoy, because you're wasting your seed, you're wasting a chance to replicate. Why would you want to go in a mouth? Because you can't get a girl pregnant there. I don't know. I think this is all put into our minds by porn. I wonder if the prehistoric boys liked a bit of the mouth action and coming on her face. Are there any historians or anything know if the oral sex was such a big deal back in the Paleolithic men, or the whatever you call it? Anyway, I don't think I'm amusing anyone apart from myself. If I'm amusing you, you can just say James's shit sometimes amuses me. If it's stick to the fucking dating coaching, loser, you're welcome to put that in anyway. So community demonstrations, stick to the shit, loser. James can be somewhat amusing sometimes. Okay. I know French women have hairy armpits. My first French girl, she smoked Camel with no filters, and she had hairy armpits, and she was really pretty. But man, it was very stressful trying to have sex with her the first time, because the first time a girl ever put her hands behind her head, and I went ah, and her lips tasted foul, like no filter Camel. I tell you, I still even remember her name, Celine. Wow, I don't remember the names of many girls, but she was French. Anyway, and I got her in LA. Tess is having a wee bit of a cough. Next question, please. Oh, it's up. How important is banter, and where should you learn to practice this? I would strongly recommend no banter. No banter, no banter, no banter. Having coached thousands of students, many engineers, many business owners, many doctors, few lawyers, so many white collar professionals, quite a few blue collar guys, some guys with tens of millions businesses, the odd billionaire, celebrities. I think for the average American Australian guy, you should not do banter. Now, I'm not going to say for 1 second it's an effective instrument to do better with girls. If you look at a guy like, say, Russell Brand, he uses banter and teasing and a lot of sexual innuendo. And I'm not going to sit and tell you Russell Brand's not good with women. He's probably insane with women. And I know a lot of models, when you go, who's your celebrity bonk? They'll go Russell Brand. No one is disputing that Russell Brand probably does insanely well with women. But most of my clients, I'm not getting Russell Brand type dudes coming to me as clients. I'm getting educated, white collar professionals, business owners, and some blue collar guys. Now, some of the blue collar guys might do it a bit better, but most of you white collar professionals, you're not naturally that good at banter. Or as Tess alluded to earlier, you may have gone to a private school, you may have played a lot of sport. You might be pretty good at bantering with your buddies and your mates, but you're probably not that good at doing it with women, particularly when you first meet them and you've got approach anxiety. And they're probably a bit nervous about what the hell is going to happen. And particularly when you're on a first date with a girl you really like. We believe, after testing this on thousands of guys, that your best bet is just to ask really good open-ended questions, try to find out what the girl's passions are, and then talk about the girl's passions that you're also interested in. That's the formula for, and obviously dress well, understand female psychology, women's tests. So yeah, we are not a fan of banter at all. If you like, some of the English guys can naturally do banter a lot better than Australians and Americans. The Irish too. Even with them, I'd be quite cautious of it. But if you're not a good banterer with your friends, I mean, just forget that some dating coach on YouTube told you to banter and you do better with girls. At least going back 10 or 15 years, I met all these guys. I met some of the girls that were dating. It wasn't pretty. It really wasn't pretty. So, and some of these guys were very famous as dating coaches. So forget negs, forget banter, forget cocky, funny. Just be yourself. Be the most confident version of yourself. Be the Daniel Craig, James Bond version of yourself. Just no. I'm super confident. I don't care if you reject me because I'm just going to go talk to another girl. I can build connection really quickly. I'm dressed well. I'm stylish. I've had a bit of training in sex. I can give you a dramatically better than average first up go in the bedroom. I'm a good guy. You know, I've got stuff going on in my life. I don't just go to bars and chase girls. So yeah, I would drop banter. You maybe 5 or 10% of our clients could maybe use it and use it quite well, but you'd use it very rarely and you'd only use it in certain situations. Tess, do you want to talk about guys trying to banter with women, especially when you first meet them?
Yeah, exactly, guys. Like, I think if you're trying to do banter straight off the bat when you know nothing about this woman, it's very rare that that lands really well. Like, most of the time, women might be either a little bit like slightly nervous or just trying to figure out who you are, or just like a bit reserved because she's like, who is this guy? I don't know how I'm going to take him yet. So if you're trying to like crack jokes that just don't land, it's really awkward, and she's kind of like, oh, haha, yeah, that, I don't know, I didn't get that, or that just wasn't funny, or yeah, it's really risky. So I would say just don't take the risk. Just focus on being real and having an authentic connection, good energy, you know, all of the stuff we've talked about, and exactly what James said. If yeah, like if you can make the girl laugh, that's definitely a good thing, but you should not try to force it if this is not a natural skill of yours. Like, don't force it.
Yeah, good answer, Tess. Next question, please.
Yeah. Oh, a really nice comment from Landon. I'm just going to put this up because I really like it. I've had a few sessions with Tess, definitely improved all my relations from dates to family, etc. She knows her stuff. So glad I did it and looking forward to doing more. Thank you, Landon. Yeah, we've only actually done a couple of sessions, so it's really awesome to hear that that's you've noticed a difference straight away. Yeah, fast learner, Landon. So yes, very proud of you and really great to hear. Love hearing this feedback.
Muchas gracias, Landon. If you could possibly put that comment up on the live video, that would mean the world to us. It's you guys with us begging, doing it, putting a few more comments on the live video. They've been responsible for us getting from maybe 700 or 800 views alive up to like 2,500, 3,000, even 5,200 views alive. So yeah, that would be a huge favor if you put that up for us. Thank you. Because yeah, Tess is pretty amazing. And my method's pretty amazing too. Next question, Tess.
Yeah, a question from Duke888 November. Welcome, Duke. So tips, please, on conversation with older guys, 60s chatting with girls in their 30s and 40s. Oh, sorry, girls 30 or 40 years younger. I'm in London.
That's great. The first thing, if there is a big age difference, there's nothing sexual about it. It's just like, hey, how you doing? What's been the highlight of your week, Tess? You're not doing anything pickup artisty. You're not being in any way sleazy. You're dressed very well. You're dressed very stylishly. You're not wearing, a three-piece suit, but everything you wear fits. It's appropriate colors for you. You're not flashing brand names. There's no stripes or polka dots or stupid gunshot wounds or something in your jeans. So you're dressed very well, you're relaxed, and you're just being friendly. And you want to get into the habits when you are talking to girls to be friendly with everyone, the ugly girls, the older girls, the guys. And then when you just really friendly with super attractive girls who are much younger than you, it just seems normal that you just talk to everyone. But if you can become that guy and you do the stuff Tess and I teach you and you dress well, you get maybe the right haircut for you, a few other things, then yeah, you just go along. Now, the thing you got to understand is there are a percentage of women who are, let's say, 30 years younger than you. So say you're 60. There's a percentage of women who are 30 who are just not interested in dating most 60-year-olds. Put Brad Pitt in front of them, they might change their tune quickly. You got to accept that is part of life. But given the modern 20-something man has been brainwashed with this woke nonsense, they've had so much fucking chemicals and everything they touch, their testosterone has plummeted. They're scared of doing anything with women lest they be kicked out of university or kicked out of school or publicly humiliated. They didn't grow up like many of us did, playing in houses that were being built or playing footy or getting in fights all the time. And like a friend of mine, he does Muay Thai in Canada. And like, unless he's a professional, when he has a Muay Thai fight, they're not allowed to say who the winner is. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in the world? Of course, you work out who the winner is. I mean, what the hell? What if there's a knockout? You're not allowed to say one guy knocked the other guy out because that's fucking elitist or something. I mean, the modern 20, 30-year-old men have just been completely fucked. Their dicks are smaller because of all the shit they eat and all the chemicals they take in. So us older guys, we've got a lot going for us. And there's quite a few women who are 30 years or 20 years younger who figured this shit out by now. I've pleasured quite a few of them, I can tell you. I'm putting up some good getting some good feelings going around for us older guys. So yeah, just be confident. And if she's not interested in you sexually, just so what? Lots of other girls are, but just be friendly with them. And many times I've been quite nastily rejected a few times. And then I'm like, okay, see ya, bye. And I've just gone to talk to a girl younger, hotter than her. And then she's come and hunted me down like a crazy woman. So actual specific tips on conversation, just everything we're telling you, ask open-ended questions, ask less facts and data questions. If you are much older, don't be too condescending. Don't talk down to her. Don't always be giving her life advice. I mean, I remember dating a girl who was a fly around the world model, and I went, "You can't be serious." That was a John McEnroe impersonation. The ball hit the line. Chalk flew up. You're an insult to. I did my John McEnroe impersonation, and this girl had no idea who fucking John McEnroe was. And she goes, "Who's John McEnroe?" I go, "He's the most famous tennis player of all time. He's the coolest tennis player of all time." For anyone who doesn't know, John McEnroe is. I'm not much of a tennis fan. He's the guy who used to throw the fucking tantrums. I haven't watched tennis apart from John McEnroe, obviously Anna Kournikova, but that was not for the tennis. But yeah, he was unreal. But the girl had no idea who John McEnroe is. And I'm like, I used to say, "Oh, you weren't born when Dire Straits released Money for Nothing. You weren't born when the stock market crashed. You weren't born." What was my 90s one? I can't remember. I had a 90s one. And then I've done a few. You weren't born when the World Trade Centers came down, and that's a good one. You weren't even born when the World Trade Centers came down. What the fuck's going on here? How can I date you? I make jokes about it. So you remember 9/11? Oh, you weren't born then. So yeah. Anyway, I sort of play it up a little bit. Yeah, just don't be sleazy, don't be sexual, don't do any pickup artist stuff. Genuinely get to know them, except if some of them aren't interested in you, and don't be freaked out if you get 1 or 2 out of 20 go a little bit awkward. It's just part of the game, because there's plenty of girls who are age 30 who'd kill to have a confident, well-presented 60-year-old guy. Tess, do you want to add any tips on conversation with older guys, 60s? I've got quite a few clients in their 60s who are dating girls 20 and 30 years younger than them. 40. Let me see, Doug. Well, Doug was dating 26, or was it 24 when he was 61? And I had a doctor in Perth who was dating exclusively early 20s when he was 59. I need to think. I'm almost certain I have. Tess, sorry, you want to take over?
Yeah, no, I think, James, what you said is you've pretty much covered it. I think, yeah, it's just like, don't make a big deal about it. Like, you don't emphasize that as the first thing you say. I think you just have a conversation, be an open, positive person, and it's yeah, like exactly what James said. Not every woman is going to be super open to like engaging or dating with a guy 30 or 40 years older than her, but there are women who are. So yeah, you've just got to get through that initial hurdle if there's a little bit of resistance. But as we said, all the same stuff that we've been talking about tonight, just having positive energy, asking good questions, which make it like hard for a woman not to just at least open up a little bit. That's going to work really well.
Yeah, I mean, I've dated girls who admitted they'd never ever dated a guy who was even 20 years younger, who was they've never dated a guy within 20 years of my age group. This was when I was about 43 or something. I dated a 23-year-old. She wasn't like a proper agency model, but apparently she had a big Instagram following. I never saw it. And I immediately, when I met her, because I knew age was going to be a problem because she was a slightly immature 23-year-old, I went, "Oh," she said something really interesting and really intelligent. And I said, "Oh, wow, that's really interesting what you said. I'm quite impressed by that. Tell me, how old are you?" And I looked her dead in the eyes. And then she told me. And then she's just like, oh, and she knew I was way older than her because I was already quite grey there. And she goes, "Oh, and how old?" She goes, "Oh, and how old are you?" And I told the truth. I think it was 43, and she was 23. And I go, "Oh, I'm only 45." Yeah, let's just say, "Oh, I'm 45," and she goes, "Oh, my last boyfriend was 28." I'm like, this is still 18-year age gap. I mean, you haven't really closed the gap very much, but she wanted to sell herself that, like, yeah, I can date older guys. He was like 5 years older than me. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking 18 and whatever. Anyway, you get the point. I was like 20 years older than her, but yeah, but she was up for it. She was so nervous. It wasn't. Oh, the other thing I'll suggest is if they do like you, they get so nervous. They get so fucking nervous. Some of them. Next question, Tess.
Okay. Question from Ivan. Hey guys, if I'm asking good open-ended questions and it's going well, to stop from getting friend-zoned, is it wise to ask a question that will tell her I like her and would let her and would like to be with her? Is it wise to ask a question that will tell her I like her and would like to be with her?
I would suggest no, but I need to hear the question you are thinking of, and I'd probably need to see that in the context of what else is going on. Tess and I, and pretty much every female coach I've ever hired, are very much in the school of thought that you don't talk, you don't go, oh, if I was in bed naked with a new girl, I don't go, oh, is it okay if I stick it in you now? You don't do, even though with yes means yes law, you probably have to, which is fucking so tragic. It's even stupider than biological men hopping in a cage fight with biological women. It's asinine that you'd have to say that. It's just, women are just like, how fucking brain dead is this? So you generally don't ask for permission with women. You learn to read signals. You learn to take action, read the signals and assess from there. So I would generally say no, but I can't say no with 100% certainty, because I'd need more context around what's happening, and particularly more context around what you're asking. Like, I mean, one thing I do is I might ask a girl, she says something really smart, or ask her a question, or sometimes ask someone, go, oh, tell me the last great book you read, and she'll go, Plato's Symposium. This has happened to me a while back. I go, oh, really? Seriously? I read that book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What did you love so much about Plato's Symposium? Just to see if she actually read it. And I'll ask her more about philosophy and literature. And I go, oh, wow, I really love girls who are into philosophy and literature. Tell me, are you single? Tell me, are you single and special at the moment? I'll use it as a segue to find out if she's dating. So that would be an example where I'm doing that, but hopefully in a very sophisticated way. Tess, do you want to add to that? Ivan, if you want to give us any more specificity around exactly what you're thinking of, we can give you a much more accurate answer.
Yeah, so to stop getting friend zoned, it's like, it's much stronger to just use body language, touch, escalation, etc., like building sexual tension through all of that stuff, the non-verbal stuff, than to verbally say something like explicitly sexual. Or yeah, I think that women, we love like a little bit of mystery, a little bit of yeah, like a little bit of sexual tension, etc., when there's been like chemistry, right? But you're not literally saying, oh, hey, I really like you, I want to take you home tonight. You know, it's it's a lot more powerful when she's like, oh, I think something's happening here, and there's like excitement of the mystery, but it's still quite obvious. She's like, I can tell he really likes me because he's touching me, he's you know, there's really good eye contact, like he's done all these things that make me, she can tell that you want to, that it's not just a friend zone thing, but yeah, without you literally saying those words. So yeah, it's the non-verbal communication that will that's a lot stronger, basically.
Awesome. Next question.
Yes, a question from Stevie. Can I use my career or hobbies to keep the conversation interesting?
Generally not career, because many guys fall into the trap of talking about their work, and often doing it in a boastful way if they've got a good job or they're rich or something. If she's talking about her work, you can follow, but I generally wouldn't lead down that path. Hobbies, definitely. One of the ways I'd use that is if Tess said, so if I keep repeating the same examples, if Tess said, oh, I love paragliding, I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. I've skydived a few times, bungeed a bunch of times, and I've done hang gliding. But yeah, tell me more about paragliding. That seems like the best of all. So I would use my hobbies and interests to give her license to fuel the conversation. I wouldn't talk too much about my hobbies and interests. Because as I said, the whole goal is to get the girl talking as much as possible. So Tess, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, James. You've summed that up perfectly. Yeah, if you are going to talk about your career and hobbies, just keep it short, keep it brief. Share in little bite-sized pieces. And what that does, it kind of, especially if it kind of relates to something she's talked about, you're just kind of leaving these little sort of breadcrumbs, I call them, for her to latch onto and potentially start engaging back with you, but you don't steal the spotlight. So yeah, that's not a bad thing to do, but you definitely don't want to like just start rambling on about everything, all your hobbies and your career, blah 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 blah, and try to like be impressive with all those sorts of things. That's not going to work well. So, a question from Ivan: how do I practice these skills so it becomes natural and I don't freeze up?
Book a date with Tess. Book a date with Tess. That will change everything. And then practice with Tess. In the absence of that, just piece together as much as you can from this one. I think we did one called Questions to Ask Girls. I think we did one called 4 Social Skills. There's probably a few more videos on the main channel. If you make a hybrid of everything you've learned here, particularly this one, and then just practice with your friends, practice with checkout girls, practice with your hairdresser, practice with sales assistants, practice with the cute girl at the gym, just practice with any human, practice with an Uber driver. You just need a human being to practice these skills. A lot of people who work in customer service or hospitality, or a lot of people who work as dentists and doctors and people who are actually seeing people as part of their job, they can actually use these skills in their day-to-day life. And I've had so many doctors who claim to have made so much more money, constant compliments in their bedside manner. I had some sort of foot surgeon who went from, his patients just went to see him and left. He never got any referrals, to after he'd done a few private training sessions with social coach, whatever, he did really well with girls, but he had this gigantic table. He was in a practice with a bunch of other surgeons and stuff, and he had this gigantic lunch table where, from what I understand, 12 people would sit at once. And at Christmas time, the entire table was covered with bottles of wine, bouquets of flowers, teddy bears, and all these gifts for him. He was the most popular medical practitioner in the practice by miles and miles and miles. I mean, he never had to worry. He was quite good at what he did, and he'd been in business a long time. But he basically doubled and tripled and quadrupled his practice in the year or two following working with social coach, to the point is where he had to start hiring and training new people to take on, which he didn't want to do because he already had a ton of money from property investments. So he actually got sick of it. He had to start getting rid of clients because he just got so many fucking referrals because of what he learned from social coach. So yeah, you can practice them anywhere. Some of you can practice them in your job. You can practice them, when you're at the traffic lights, when you're in an elevator, when you're standing in the line to buy groceries. Anytime you can talk to humans. The more I go about saying this, the more I'm thinking, you watch comedy and movie on Netflix or Amazon Prime, you do all your shopping at home from whatever the hell you use, some home shopping app. Many of you work 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week from home. Many of you have got some YouTuber or some program or some app you follow to keep fit. So there's not the level of opportunities to talk to other humans that there used to be, which is kind of sad. But yeah, just practice them whenever you can work with other human beings would be my advice. Did you want to add anything to that, Tess? I think we've got a ton of questions left, have we?
Yeah, we've still got a bunch to get through, but yeah, you summed that up perfectly, James. Just practice as much as you can, especially when you're not just in front of a woman that's intimidating you. Practice when you're not feeling intimidated with just anyone around you, and you'll start to solidify some of the basic techniques like open-ended questions. Okay, Martin asked a question. I'm back studying and money is really tight for me at the moment. Can I really get fantastic results just from Zoom coaching with Tess if I'm already in my 50s.
Oh yeah, if you're serious and you do her homework and she'll give you conversation drills, she'll tell you places to go, she'll tell you certain speed dating outfits where you can get a lot of experience that we've tested. If you actually follow through 70% on what Tess gives you, you can get insane results. We literally got a guy who was broke when he joined up the program, who I can't remember, when I did the Zoom call, I couldn't see him because he was in the dark. He's literally homeless because he had a whole bunch of bad luck. I can't remember, he's sleeping in a surf club or something from memory. I could be wrong. So he does a Zoom call, right? I couldn't even see the guy because he had no electricity. Anyway, he found some electricity to do the first date with Tess. He somehow managed to pay for the program, even though he was unemployed and homeless. And he just said this is one of the best things he'd ever done. He's literally sending me pictures of, I think, 2 lots of proper agency models who he's dating, and a whole bunch of other really hot girls that he's been with. So yes, you definitely can. I'm not saying the boot camp won't add quite a bit to it, but you can get fantastic results just getting the conversation, the date plan, the style, practicing dates over and over again, practicing approaches over and over again. Once you start to get quite confident with women, what Tess does is she'll be a real bitch and she won't give you very much and she'll really make you earn it and she'll freeze you out. And then we've got girls, Russian model, Valeria, who if you get so good that Tess can't be bitchy enough to really beat the shit out of you, we pass you over to Valeria. She'd tell you an Aussie boy, American boy, new sphincter if they ever come talk to her. She's brutal, man. Yeah, there's so much we can do on Zoom, and yet we've been doing Zoom since 2000 now, 2001. So we really are getting better at it. Tess has done way over 1,000 of these. I don't know how many exactly. I should count them up. Natalia's probably done hundreds. I've done quite a few with the girls. So yeah, we can get you crazy good results, more than you could ever really dream of. You could almost argue, given the fact that in 2018, 2019, we hadn't had, I don't think the Me Too movement had blown out of all proportion then. It was still somewhat sensible. We hadn't had COVID. We hadn't had this mass transformation to people working at home. What's happened since 2018 is so many men, so many desirable men have checked out of dating altogether that you can take a certain amount of action now and get much better results than you could have 8 years ago. So yeah, we can get you so far on Zoom. The other thing, I'm not preparing the boot camps at all, but on the boot camps, you come on to the boot camp, I'm there, Tess is there, Natalia's there, some other really good coaches like Coda and Val are there. But yeah, and then there's a bunch of other models, but you're getting to work with the very, very, very best coach one-on-one. Like pre-COVID, if you wanted to work one-on-one with Tess or Natalia, that would cost you 15 grand a day. What's that? $700 an hour or something. But because obviously if Tess can work from Bali or France, or she can be down on the central, she can be up in the Central Coast, she can be so many places working, making, money every night doing Zoom. So I get the girls at quite a discount on Zoom and I pass those savings on to you. So yeah, the Zoom coaching is phenomenal. And I'm blown away by the results guys get on Zoom alone. And I'm completely astounded by the level that guys are when they get on the boot camps now, because Tess has done such a good job with them. Did you want to add anything to that, Tess?
Yeah, no, absolutely, James. I know some of the results have been astounding just from Zoom. That guy in particular you were talking about, but another one who didn't make it to the boot camp because he went and got married. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, it just guys, honestly, it's amazing how quickly we're seeing some transformations happen just from a few Zoom coaching sessions, which is really, really cool, and I absolutely love. Obviously, we love to see you guys on the boot camp as well. Okay,
Yeah, if we
so
just revolutionize your conversation skills, give you a date plan, brush up your style, give you some insights into female psychology, give you the reading signals training and some sex training. If that's all you do, you've flown past 97% of Americans and Australians. If that's all we give you, and we're very good at that over Zoom, there should be a link somewhere in the live, and there'll definitely be a link in the description and the comments if you want to check it out.
yeah, that's into the chat, guys. Yeah. So I hope we can get through all the questions. I feel like we've got heaps to get through, James.
I'm just going to get, if I see some ones that look really good, I'm just going to touch on them.
Right.
If you could keep a record of where we're up to, how are we going for time? Oh, shit. No more Scorsese movies. A lot of dating experts are saying to use Instagram and texting as a vehicle to date more of the time. If you're clicking dig a little deeper, but ultimately texting should be used to set up dates. Okay. Using Instagram and texting as a vehicle to set up more dates. The more dates you can go on with moderately attractive girls, the better. I agree with that 100%. If you're a really good-looking guy, and if you're a good-looking guy who's got a good lifestyle, and you've already taken the time to sort of promote your lifestyle on Instagram, then yeah, definitely use it. I don't know if I would go to the trouble for guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. My answer would be different for guys in their 20s and potentially 30s. I don't know if I'd go to the trouble to actually build an Instagram. I think you'd be far better off going out doing a bunch of approaches at gyms and yoga studios and whatever, cafes and stuff. But if you've already got it, definitely use it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, we get so many guys who've done all the dating app training and the Instagram training. Some of them get, quite a bit of sex out of Instagram and dating apps and just messaging girls, but none of them are happy. They're not meeting high quality women there. They're just not meeting high quality women there. I regard Tess as a high quality woman. She doesn't spend much time pimping out her Instagram. Some girls do, and they're generally not the girls I want in my life unless they're actually models and they're using it for their modeling career. So, okay, let me go through this in pieces. A lot of dating experts are saying to use Instagram and texting as a vehicle to date more of the time. I personally don't think that's time efficient. If you're tall, handsome, and you've got a good body and you've got a German car and you've got a fancy life and you're constantly traveling and you can showcase that, yeah, maybe do it then. But that's not a huge percentage of our clients. But if you don't have the body and the lifestyle and all that stuff, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn on Instagram, because you can have a really good Instagram. You can have one photo that poo-poos you. So you really need an expert to help you with that. We can help you with that, and we do, but we don't think that's where you should primarily be investing your time, particularly if you're a busy guy. If you're clicking dig a little deeper, but ultimately texting should be used to set up dates. If you're talking texting off Instagram, then you got to message back and forth. If you're meeting women in the real world, then I think it's batshit crazy to try to set up dates on text. What you should do is you should try to pitch them your date plan and set up a date when you're face to face with them. Do you add anything to that, Tess?
Yeah, no, I don't need to add anything to that. That was good, James.
I'll just do this one. I think that was a good one. As a man around 50, is it easier an experience to go for women your age or for much younger women? I've never been with a woman over 30, so I don't know. I can't answer that. Yeah, I've never done it, so I don't know. Nearly all my dating experience is 20s. So my thing is, I'll tend to start girls, what most people would say is quite young, and I'll just stay with them in some cases 3, 4, 5, 10 years. I don't start with women older. It's not just a body thing. I don't want to sound like some freak who only wants 22-year-old bodies. Just when women start doing like what I think Tess calls them the commitment tests, I'm just like, this is too hard. I can't be bothered, and I just give up. and go talk to another girl. So some of you guys might not agree with that. Tess probably doesn't agree with it, but just because I have a very easy time approaching girls, as soon as I get any bullshit early, I just tend to turn around and walk away. Sometimes when they know I'm serious about walking away, that makes it easy to sleep with them. But yeah, because of my understanding of female tests and games, women over a certain age will play games with me. I see through them. I lose a lot of attraction to them, and I just give up. The other thing, I'm 55 or 54, nearly 55. I haven't had kids. If I have children, which I'd really like to do, if I can meet the caliber of woman I met in my 30s, who I'm truly crazy about, I truly respect, obviously makes me rock hard, who I think I've got a sporting chance of doing a good 15 years with to do at least a good job of being parents. If I meet that girl, I am not going to have kids at 55 and give up 20 years of my life for one kid. I don't think that's a good ROI for me. So if I do have kids, which I desperately want to do, I want to know a girl can have at least 3 kids. So if it takes 9 months, we give her body 18 months or 2 years to heal so she can have another kid really healthily, then I really don't want to start, much older than probably 28, if that makes sense to you. I've really done the maths and thought about this. So yeah, I don't have, let me see. As a man around 50, is it easier in your experience to go for women who are your age or for much younger women? It's going to be much easier to go for girls your age because they're not in anywhere near as much demand, and they're going to be much more attracted to you naturally, obviously. And if you're starting out and you're just trying to get from A to B, just if you can have a nice conversation with her and she's hot enough that you think you're going to get an erection, just go down that path. Because the thing is, we want to give you practice. We want to get you learning the skills Tess teaches you, and we want to get you implementing them. So the other thing I'll quickly say before I round out that point, I am a bit of a cheerleader that there's dramatically more happiness in relationships where there's quite a big age gap if you're above average intelligence, simply because we mature much quicker, because women mature dramatically quicker than us. A 25-year-old woman's probably similar maturity to a 45 or 50-year-old man, I would guess, because they're at similar stages in life if they've got a little bit of money. The other thing I'd say is a lot of my clients will do the training, sleep with a bunch of girls and say they're 50, and they will go through a lot of 25 and 30-year-olds, some even younger. But then a lot of them, when they come into a relationship, they'll end up with a girl 35 or 36, which might not be what I would do, but that's what a lot of my clients would do. So direct answer to your question, yes, it will be way easier if you're 50 to get 50-year-old women. They might run you through more hoops, just because whatever, they've been around and they don't want to be fucked around again. And the younger ones can be a lot more easy. Oh, the other big advantage, just on the younger women's better side, the other big advantage I've had with much younger women is a lot of them don't initially think of me as boyfriend material. They think of me as super confident, pretty interesting older guy who maybe knows a bit about what to do with me in the bedroom. So I don't think I get the stress I would get from them dating them if I was a really desirable 32-year-old. Bit of a long-winded answer. Hopefully that was helpful. Tess, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Probably not on this one.
I don't think this one's for me.
Just you tell anyone's you've got. Scotty says tension, the unknown, tension. I'm hearing that a lot from dating experts. I don't know what you're talking about exactly. If you're talking about sexual tension, that can be pretty good. We don't so much use fancy words or anything. We use touch, eye contact, body language, date positioning, date planning. As Tess says, how good touching is. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like if you're touching her skillfully, there's really good eye contact, you're pausing, you're really confident. She's, you're building the attraction, basically. That's what sexual tension's about. And it's about not just using up that tension and going in for a kiss when she's not ready. It's about building the reserve of her like wanting more, right? So that's kind of what sexual tension is. It's that like it's that reserve of sexual energy. Let's say.
Tess, if you keep track of who we haven't done, I'm just pointing out ones that I probably should cover. Ralph's irregular. From my experience, bantering, flirted, teasing is very important to building rapport with women. For most guys we coach, I would be very, very, very cautious with that. I don't know what your job is. We coach a lot of very analytical guys. If you're already very good at it and you're getting results, I'm definitely not going to say stop doing it. If I coached you, I might, but I'm definitely going to tell you on YouTube. What I find with all that stuff is it's high risk. If you do everything we talk about on these lives, touch eye, body language, conversation skills, elite level conversation skills, date planning, you dress okay, a lot of women are going to be interested in you. And banter, flirting, teasing can really backfire. And a lot of smarter girls think it's a bit juvenile, particularly if it's in any way forced. And trust me, not many men are very good at banter, flirting, and teasing. Russell Brand sure is, but Russell Brand ain't coming to us to do sessions with Tess and do boot camps with me. And there's not many Russell Brands, and there's a lot of whatever. There's a lot of guys who wear suits to work and are huddled over computers and solve difficult problems. So there's a lot of sort of Elon Musks. I'm not talking wealth or remarkable. I'm just talking about in terms of what they do every day. Elon Musk sits on the throne and provokes the woke mob to hate him. So yeah, we disagree with that quite profoundly for most of our clients. You might not be one of them, but that's just our opinion. But having said that, you don't need to agree with 100% of what Social Coach says. Take what you like and leave the rest, but definitely test what we say as well. Tess, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say that like playfulness is a lot less risky than banter, flirting, teasing. Playfulness can still be a little bit like flirty, like being playful is flirty, but it's not like you're being overtly sexual or like forcing banter style jokes, etc., which don't often land well. So playfulness, I would say yes, but not necessarily banter, flirting, teasing.
Had an excellent question. Again, if you could keep track of the ones we haven't touched. Had an excellent question from a new guy. The Doppler effect. Whoa, you must be a smarty pants. I don't mean that in a bad way. That's awesome. The Doppler effect. If you have some wealth, what are good and bad ways to use that when dating or trying to find a date? Generally, don't talk too much about your job. Definitely don't talk about your things. Never mention the brand of your car or anything like that. That's just... It's just so obvious. I mean, you might say it works. It can work, but it's just very, very tacky. You could just talk about some of the experiences the wealth has given you. It might be you've traveled a bit. It might be you've had the time to do courses in different things. If you do have some money and you haven't been a workaholic, you just work the whole time, which many wealthy guys have been. We tend to coach older guys. So a lot of wealthy older guys got to a point where they eased back a bit and they actually lived a life that the wealth enabled them to live. So yeah, just talk about what you've done with your life and ask good questions about stuff. I mean, I don't know, potentially you've got a holiday home somewhere. I mean, you can very quietly drop about how much you love being at your holiday home, but just keep it really, really low key. I did pretty well in finance, and I was a bit self-conscious about women wanting me for money, so I tended to play it down as much as I could. What I find is the more promiscuous I am, the more I don't even mention it. When I started traveling, I used to say, oh, I was lucky enough to travel on my investment earnings because I made quite a bit in finance and invested it well. I wasn't rich, but I made quite a lot of money and sort of involuntarily retired early after a fight with my bank, then got addicted to traveling. So I went from saying, oh, I'm traveling on my investment earnings, which was true, to saying, and if you're in the third world, it doesn't cost that much money to live for a year. I went from saying I'm traveling on my investment earnings to, I used to work in a bank and I worked really hard and I saved up to travel for a long period of time. But yeah, I slept with more models when I played down my financial success. I relied on just building connection with them. Tess, did you want to add anything to that? That's an excellent question, Doppler.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that yeah, it's don't make it about the money. I completely agree with that. And if you do, you're either going to be attracting gold diggers or you're going to make the woman think, okay, I'm not going to be super easy for this guy necessarily. She might test you a little bit or just make things a little bit more difficult for you because she wants to come across as a high value woman. But as for a guy who's just your average guy who's really charismatic, who's connecting really well, and yeah, not necessarily like super rich or anything, she'd be much less likely to have those hoops that you need to jump through. She'd kind of be a little bit more relaxed and open with you, I'd say.
Tess, you've talked previously, if you're on a date with a guy, particularly in your New York modeling days, where it's like he starts talking about how many people he has or how big his company is, or he's got offices all over the place, just how sickeningly repulsive that is.
Well, if when a guy feels the need to be boasting about his achievements, his business achievements or whatever, it's like, okay, like what are you compensating for? Like I don't know, that's not really saying anything about his character or his values or I don't that stuff really just doesn't excite me whatsoever. It's really boring. It shows that you're really insecure as well. Like why do you feel the need to try to impress me with these things? It's really superficial, I think. So yeah, it's a little bit repulsive.
You don't need to be big-headed. When you're like an early 20s model or even a 20s model, can you just explain to guys how easily that stuff comes to you? And you were doing this, whatever, 10 years ago. For girls now with Instagram, it's like they open their fucking DMs and there's like 50 rich guys with boats and in some cases jets, or who are famous just hitting them up the whole time. So you've got to understand wealth just means nothing to young hot girls unless you've got a connection. It's so irrelevant to them. It's just another rich guy who wants to slobber all over me and give me really bad sex, who's telling me about his cars or how many staff he's got. Can you just try to explain that to guys?
It does depend on the woman. Like, I do know some women who like money, and who might get excited by that, but it's generally probably not the kind of woman who you are wanting to attract. Often gold diggers, right? So they're just there for the money. They're not really interested in you, and that just makes the whole interaction a bit of a transaction, which I think that's not really what we're here to be doing. So yeah, it's just it's like when that's how you're selling yourself, it's almost like you're trying to make it a transaction as well. So for women who are just a little bit more genuine and also so just flooded with that kind of approach, it's really meaningless and you don't connect with her. You're not standing out from the crowd and it's not different. It's not special and unique and something that's going to hit home for her. It's just superficial and meaningless.
Sorry. I missed that question. That was dumb. The wealth one. Like a girl I dated, I told this story before. A girl I dated was a fly around the world model I dated in the States. The 3 guys she dated before me, well, the 4. One of them was Michael Jordan. I mean, does it get more extraordinary than that? And the other 3, they picked her up. 2 of them had Ferraris, one of them had Lamborghinis. They all wore beautiful suits, and they all took her to not Michael Jordan, all took her to this super cool restaurant that just opened and dropped hundreds and hundreds, possibly $1,000 on dinner with her. I met her in the waiting room at the YHA. She said she never slept with any of them. If she'd slept with Michael Jordan, I might have noticed some differences in the size of certain orifices. I might not have been able to satisfy her. Yeah, you've seen Mike's fingers. It's like, that's his index finger. Where is it? So yeah, that's why he's the greatest basketballer of all time, because he can just grab the ball like you can't believe. So I believe that's correlated with what's between his legs. Sorry, black dick jokes. I can't get through a YouTube live without a black dick joke. So yeah, you just can, and also lots of other girls I've dated. Anytime it's a proper model, my female coaches like Nevina and Jackie, they just get guys, if they've got an Instagram with a few bikini pics, they just get guys with tons of money throwing themselves at them nonstop. It really means nothing if you don't have a connection. And because they get so much of it, it's just like, oh, not another one of these boring rich guys. Oh, what am I doing? How did that happen? What about humor in the conversation? Just quickly, I keep saying Russell Brand tonight. If there's a percentage of people who are legitimately funny to their friends, there's a percentage of people who are legitimately funny to lots of strangers. Hopefully I'm one of them, because I do seminars where a lot of guys laugh. Maybe some of you guys are laughing at home. I've got a very niche market with my humor. Not Tess, unfortunately. She doesn't like me. She's repulsed by my humor. But yeah, when I try to use humor on a date with a girl I just met, sometimes it works. Sometimes it backfires savagely and I miss out on an opportunity. So again, it gets back to touch, eye contact, body language, elite conversation skills, dress well, get a date plan, learn a bit of female psychology, female tests and sex, and then connect with the girl. And then you'll get a remarkable number of those girls going through your dating funnel into sex. And you can throw in humor. Now, that may accelerate things along the dating funnel, but it can also really screw up. And with the current generation of women being so woke, and the difference between like whatever Republicans and Democrats, you could make a joke about that. Yeah, I mean, one of the smartest men in the world said it's like Sunni and it's like Shia and Sunni Muslims, or Hutsi and Tutsis in Rwanda, or wherever the massacres were. So there's so much with a girl you just met. You either talk to her for the first time or it's the first or second date. If you try to use humor, there's so much that can go wrong. So if you do use it very carefully. Any questions that you can see we've missed out on? I'm just trying to do some of the guys who. James, how did your history in finance help you shape your approach with women? What did you learn to forget and learn to do whatever was stopping with you? When I say I worked in finance, I say I was a financial advisor, and I am a proper financial analyst prior to being an advisor. I was essentially a salesman. So for me, even though I was terrible to women when I left, it was a gift. So much of what we teach you, what Tess teaches you on Zoom, is high-level sales training. And the other thing I did in finance, we did a lot of public speaking. So I got very good at reading signals and controlling the energy of rooms. So much what we teach you on boot camps is what I learned public speaking. So in that respect, finance really helped me. But what I had, and what many of you guys watching have, particularly some of you quite successful ones, is you've got a pie chart, and there's 100 things you need to be successful with women. Your commercial history, if you've managed a bunch of people, or you've got your own company, or you do some sort of sales account rep job, you may have 50 or 60 or 70% of the skills you need to do really, really well with women. I probably had about 60% of them, but because that last third, or that last 20%, or that last 40% is missing, you suck. And that's what I was like. I was really a virgin, even though I was very good at 7 out of 10 pieces of the pie. So does that specifically answer your question? How did your history in finance help shape your approach to women? The other thing, because most of my friends worked in finance, and many of my clients worked in finance, one of whom became friends, nearly all of them had the most toxic, user, disgusting fucking women you can ever imagine. Some of them were pretty hot. Most of them had relationships that would make a man want to kill themselves, where the girl was constantly nagging him, dragging him down, divorcing them, lying about what they did to them or their kids. Some of them weren't able to see their kids for years. So basically, being successful in finance turned me off women altogether, because most of the guys in finance who had girls, and some of them had some pretty attractive girls, they were just toxic, horrible, disgusting women. Or because the guy worked 12 hours a day making all this money, he was such an inadequate partner for this woman that he actually turned her toxic, which could have definitely happened in many situations. So working in finance actually turned me off women. That's why the high levels of finance in many cities, particularly New York, are so intertwined with high-level hookers. It's not funny. Yeah, like who was that a few years ago? The power Heidi Fleiss had, because she controlled governments and intelligence agencies in Hollywood with the band of high-class hookers she had, because they knew the secrets of the world. There's a theory that the reason the Allies won the war is because the girls at the Moulin Rouge in Paris, who would sleep with the senior Nazis because they were the hottest girls in Paris, some of these girls were actually essentially de facto secret agents who were giving high-level intel about Hitler's plans back to the Allies. And I think I listened to some podcast or something where some of this information the Moulin Rouge dancers got actually turned the course of the war. So you'd want to research that on AI. Don't just take it as gospel for me. Tess can't really help with that. I believe, was your dad ex-finance?
Yes, both parents finance.
Oh, did you have anything you wanted to contribute? Did you have anything you want to add to that? You might not.
No. I think this question is for you, James.
Okay. Does alcohol or nervousness make this worse? How do I fix it? Okay. When guys do my boot camp, if they need to go out and drink fucking 12 beers to do an approach, which is true for many of the Aussies and probably quite a few of the Americans and all of the Irish and most of the Swedish and Norwegian and German and probably a few Dutch and most of the English. Sure, Canadians are the same. Then I say, okay, man, you usually do 12. Can you just do between 3 and 6 tonight? I don't try to make them stop. Ideally, you should move it down. I'm nervous to make this worse. Alcohol can give you some courage, but it really screws up your skill set and your control of the situation. Nervousness makes this much worse. What we recommend you do is book sessions with Tess, get some skills, and nervousness basically disappears, especially if you do some of the stuff we do to warm up. I'm even on boot camps where I've got like 36 guys watching 36 pairs of eyes watching my first approach. I'm not really that nervous because I'm highly skilled and I've done it a bunch of times. There's a bit, if I've got a really dorky group or the bar's very empty, the nervousness picks up a bit, but I know what I'm doing. I've got a step-by-step process I follow, so I'm not really that nervous. And if the first one or two go dud, I know how to handle that as well. So when you've got systems and processes in place, like I think my point 3, it's not that much of a stress. So with alcohol, I recommend initially cutting down, just gradually cutting down, try to get rid of it. It's practically very difficult. If you want to go from like an 8 out of 10 man to a 4 out of 10 man, what do you have to do? Put on 20 kilos, dress like a homeless person, lose your job, or just walk around with a big fucking pint of beer when you're approaching girls. Tess, does that scream out, loser, get away from me, like nothing else?
Yeah, if a woman can smell alcohol in your breath, or if you're clearly intoxicated and like slurring your words and stuff, unless she's also at that level of intoxicated, it's not a good look. It's really, yeah, it doesn't matter what you say or what you do, she's kind of like, okay, this guy's been drinking, like whatever. Yeah, it's not sexy. If you're super confident without having a drink in your hand and you're charismatic and you're connecting well, etc., that's like, oh, who's this guy? He's really like, that's really impressive.
So yeah, I would tend to cut down on alcohol to point. Okay, another sales point for our coaching. So many guys, a year or two after boot camp, they've given up alcohol. And some of them quite liked alcohol, but they just felt it went from being useful to very damaging for them getting girls. So they never drunk when they went out, and they didn't really drink during the week because they weren't alcoholics. And then they might have had a glass of wine with dinner every now and then, but eventually just go, I hardly ever drink. Why don't I just stop? So I mean, hundreds and hundreds of guys who've come into our community, I found out 18 months after their boot camp, they gave up alcohol, which, you know, the amount of money that saves you, the amount, especially, I had hangovers in my 30s. Fucking hell, that's a different animal to a hangover in your 20s. I used to get a crazy hangover after a carton of Crown Lagers, get up and play footy or cricket. Yeah, as long as I had a kebab and some choc milk to line the stomach a bit and drunk plenty of water and open the windows, you can do that shit in your early 20s. Try to do that shit in your 40s. You have to check into hospital. Yeah. How do you do 24 Crown Lagers and a few bourbons in your 40s? I've got no idea. Even 12 would be too much. But that's what I hear from guys in their 40s and 50s who still drink. A hangovers just fucking cane you. So next question. Tess, if you can see what we're up to.
This one's a good one, from Stevie. How do I avoid the interview style questioning that kills attraction? Yeah, that's obviously, yeah, you don't want to do like 21 questions and just to have her feel like you're interrogating her. So if you have to respond to what she says, you ask her a question, she gives you an answer, have a response to it, like acknowledge what she's said before you just go, you can't just be like, oh, okay, question. Oh, okay, question. You know, then it's like you're not actually engaging with what she's giving you other than using what she gave you to ask your next question. When you actually can relate or acknowledge what she said by using some active listening or something to show, oh, this is what I heard you say, like this is what I gathered. I also do that or whatever, and then you ask another question. That's how you avoid the interview style. Yeah.
Thanks, Tess. As Tess said early on, there's the stuff we tell you on YouTube. Then we've got some really advanced stuff we teach our clients once they've done 6 or 7 or 8 sessions with Tess or Natalia. We've got like a very detailed system what to do at every step of the way. A lot of it, you've got to master the good open-ended questions and listening. Then there's a whole bunch of advanced techniques like sharing in bite-sized pieces and doing transition questions. It's a very systematic step-by-step method. Just wanted to put this up. It's a new guy and a really lovely question. Hello, Tess and James. Just discovered you guys really loving the content. Thank you for the invaluable info and insights. Thank you so much, man. YouTube's picked us up a bit. We're just little minnows in the YouTube world, but we've been dating coaches since 2006, coached thousands of guys on hundreds of boot camps. So we're amazing dating coaches and really shitty YouTubers, but we're improving slowly. If you could do me a huge favor and put that comment on the video when this becomes live, we would love you. But thank you so much. Please coming back for more. We might just pick 3 or 4 more questions and then move on because we're going to do a Scorsese movie like his last one about all the Indians.
Okay. I don't know how to pick. Can you see any really good ones, James? There are quite a few that we haven't gotten to. This one I think is okay. Is pretty good. How do I turn small talk into deeper conversation without it feeling forced? I can handle this one, James. Do you want to?
You can do it. That's what you do on Zoom all the time.
Yeah. So basically, it's just about a shift towards, first of all, more like feelings and emotions type questions. That's definitely a lot less. That's deeper than just the superficial level stuff. But then also a step beyond that is more on the personal side as well. So things like, childhood memories, cultural things, like deeper values. Just more like vulnerabilities, that sort of stuff. A little bit more personal. That's definitely deeper. Okay. What else, James? Have you found another good one?
Okay, we might have to make this the last one. I'm sorry. I'll run through all the points after this. History Jerk, he asks great questions. Do you deliberately ask open-ended questions that lead women to feel specific emotions like excitement, feeling,
Oh, that's a good one.
In some order, or just free flow? I never free flow. There's a very step-by-step system. I've got, it's too hard to run through it now. It's too advanced for YouTube. We ask basically questions to get, we ask openers, and then we ask what I call phatic questions to actually flesh out what her hobbies and interests are, and hopefully hobbies and interests you share. Then we want to go deeper in that. We've got a bunch of questions to do that. And then we have what we call leading open-ended questions that intentionally get onto things I like to talk about. And that's where you start to filter the women you actually want to invest time and energy with. And obviously, if you've got stuff in common, you're far more likely to dating. Specific emotions like excitement, yes, to some extent. Feeling free, yes. Adventurous, definitely. Horny, you can do, but a lot of these horny things can backfire. I'm really good at making girls horny because I tell them these crazy erotic sex stories that no one believes I actually did to a girl, that sometimes work like a motherfucker. But if I don't execute it perfectly, it often turns what would have almost certainly been a very likely expedition to the bedroom into the girl pulling up at the last minute. So I'm not big on talking about sex or trying intentionally to make a girl feel horny until she's in a place where I can finish the job, i.e. my bedroom. Free-flowing conversation is stupid for most guys. You don't see where the conversation takes you. You control where the conversation takes you. This is an excellent question. You don't free flow. You control. You don't see where it is. You have to control it. Your intention, it's a sales process. You're intentionally leading from getting to know you. I'm finding out about you. I'm fleshing out the commonalities. Okay, there's some shit going on here. We've got some stuff in common. I like you apart from your tits and your legs and your pretty face. And then you're taking her through a process of basically indoctrination and seduction, which ends up in your bedroom. So it's a very deliberate, step-by-step, intentional process. And when you do this, women say, oh, he just swept me off my feet. This is, I just felt we connected in such an incredible way, and this could be the guy for me. So that's it. That's precisely what we're doing. So yeah, everything is very deliberate. It's all part of a system. And just be cautious with the horny. Scotty, he's a new guy. Just to avoid interview style questions, I heard today it's make playful observation or teasing. Also at times let the environment do the work for you. Comment on restaurant in the park. Agree completely. Let the environment do the work for you. Tess, the third thing she does with you is she works on the date plan with you, so that when you meet a girl, you can ask her out. You don't need to get her phone number. You're asking her out on a date. You're not just asking for a phone number. And when you are on a date, you've got the highest chance of making the date successful and the highest chance of that girl at some point getting into your bedroom and starting a sexual relationship, because you've got a tested, optimized, proven dating plan based on the social coach system. In terms of the first bit, to avoid interview style questions, I've heard it helps to make it playful observations or teasing. They can go, particularly teasing can really go backwards. As I keep saying, if Russell Brand came and did my course, there's no fucking way in the known universe I'm ever going to tell that guy to stop teasing. He's amazing at it. But look at yourself, look at the way you dress, look at the way you present yourself, and look at Russell Brand. If you're kind of similar to Russell Brand, then maybe teasing is good for you. If you're not, you might prefer a social coach method, which I think is more all white collar guys aren't. All white guys are very uncool. I'm not very cool. I'm not particularly trendy. I'm older, but I'm very well presented. I'm very confident. I'm very sure of myself with women and sexually. And I understand female psychology. I'm going to be the best guy you've ever met, and I'm going to sweep you off your feet without being flamboyant. That's the social coach method. Excellent. Well, I'll just run through what we did tonight. And then we will sign off. So yes, how to never run out of things to say with women. No more awkward silence, especially for guys, men 40 to 60. the hint hunter technique. Listen for the snippets of information she gives you. Ask feelings and emotion, not facts and data questions. Brave new world. Women are not logical creatures. They're emotional, even the very smart ones. You must have a proven structure to follow when you're on dates, when you first meet girls, or you're lost. That's a big part of what we give you. We showed how to get a date with Tess, where you get to go on a date with her, practice your approaching, whatever you do now, role play that, and then get her expert, probably the best dating coach in the world, feedback about how to improve. Always have backups, have contingency for everything, particularly questions, so you don't run out of things to say. Drop the teasing, cold reads, banter, PUA bullshit. If you're Russell Brand, maybe it's good. If you're not, drop that shit. It's hurting you badly. You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio. More listening, less talking. Secret to hot girls in your bed. That bit of poetry there. Escalate touch. That's something we're big on teaching and teaching how to do it properly. And finally, the GOAT dating tip, which is ask open-ended questions, not closed-ended questions or statements or stupid banter lines. Okie dokie. Well, yeah, thank you so much for your support. I think we're up close to 3,000 on our last YouTube live. We got over 5,000 thanks to you guys 2 weeks ago with 11 things. So yeah, what you can do to support us is if like, subscribe and all that. If you could, please, we haven't got to answer all your questions. If you could just cut and paste them, chuck them in your notes. And when this video goes live, same link, just chuck them in the live video. That's going to get us more YouTube lives, maybe twice a week. Much more importantly, we're actually going to hire someone to cut all these up and give you all these 5 and 10 minute snips of this really valuable content, so you don't need to watch the whole thing. That's just a month away. If we get a few 10,000 view videos, that will be in your YouTube feed very, very soon. Thank you again to my awesome co-host Tess, the world's greatest dating coach for men, former catwalk model and the boss of a bunch of other girls who are pretty good. And yeah, as I usually say, keep smiling and bye for now.
See you guys. Good night.
Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the support. Put them on the